Hello, ladies and germs. You are watching the Cinema Asylum podcast.
Why though?
I've lost my voice quite a bit.
Me too.
We were at
Me
the
three.
Royal Rumble.
Yeah. I'm not really into WWE at all. But when you're actually there and not watching it on TV, you tend to shout a lot.
Oh yeah,
At least me and my group did.
yeah. You and your group of 60,000 plus other people.
Mm.
My name is Paul Allen. I am the horror expert. To my right,
I am Garrett. I'm the Indian drama expert.
I'm Dyllan, one of two superhero and sci-fi experts.
I'm Matthew, the sexy superhero and sci-fi expert.
What are we do?
They can't be the judge of that.
I know, so they just have to go with
So yeah.
Hey, so what? Say in the comments. What are we doing today, gang?
Matthew loses by a landslide.
I just spam the comments.
Today, we are going to rank our top 10 movies of 2005.
So yeah, last time we did 2015. I guess it's kind of a 10-year to 20-year kind of revisionist thing. So
Yeah. We're
thought
going to
that
get
might be
started with
fun.
trivia in a minute. Okay. We're going to count this for 3 points.
Okay.
The question is 2010's horror movies.
Ooh.
Okay.
In Cabin in the Woods, what did Fran Kranz receive extensive prop and behavior training for?
Was it as he's like doing that weird thing with his bong turning into the coffee cup? Or it's been a bit since I've watched Cabin in the Woods. I love it, but it has been a few years.
I'll
I
wait
think
for
that's-
everybody else to answer.
I think that's what he did.
I'm not gonna ask you this question. I want
Mhm.
to ask the people that can actually answer
Right,
me
yeah.
without
Yes.
cheating. Describe to me what the fuck this question means. Because
Um,
I haven't
the
seen it. I know the
character-
gist, but
Fran Kranz plays.
is he the stoner?
Yes, he is the
Okay.
stoner. And there's something he does with a specific prop, in the film, and
Okay, because I know about the collapsible bong.
yes.
I've seen enough of it to know about that and to know about his character, obviously.
I think he did. I think I did hear he did get some kind of training for it, just to do it like quickly, because it shows him doing that quite a few times in the movie. So I feel like that is my answer. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I would go with that just as a stoner because I know a lot of shit goes
Mhm.
into it.
Yep.
I agree.
Okay, I wasn't going to be super specific, so you all get it right.
Okay.
Yes.
It was just bong training in general. They taught him how to light it properly and
Hmm.
like all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
And I guess there's like
He plays
paraphernalia
it
references throughout the movie.
So yeah, for someone who I guess didn't know about any of that stuff, he played it. He plays that role so well in the film. And also, Frank Kranz he's a really great director. There's a movie called Mass that came out a few years ago. If you haven't seen it, brilliant film. One of the more underlooked films of 2021 is when it came out. All dialogue driven. It takes place in mainly one room with like 4 actors. Absolutely brilliant. Check that out.
Wait, so it's called Mass.
Yeah, it's called Mass.
Okay.
It has Jason Isaacs in it. Martha Plimpton from The Goonies. She's in it too.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Before I forget,
Awesome.
next week is 2020's Thriller. Is the question.
We're only 5 years in though.
Yeah.
They should. Well,
Should
I
be
don't know.
easy pickings.
Yeah, yeah. At least go with something that isn't like totally mainstream.
Yeah. No, the only thing that I really because I read like the basic summary of Cabin in the Woods because I was really interested in it.
It's a great
It's a
film.
good movie.
Yeah, I've heard
great.
a lot of awesome things. I've seen the Chris Hemsworth death scene.
Yes.
I see that. That was
So
fucking
good.
hilarious.
Seeing that, I saw that movie in the theater when it came out. That was like 2012. I knew nothing about the movie when I first saw it. My uncle brought me and my sister and friend to it. Knew nothing about it. I thought it was just gonna be a shitty horror movie like that, like
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
generic. Because the title "Cabin in the Woods" sounds like the most generic thing ever when you don't
Yeah.
know anything about it. But he told me that Joss Whedon wrote it, and Joss Whedon wrote all that good fanboy shit
Yeah.
until we found out he's a total prick. But that was like 10 years before it. So, but no. When you see Cabin in the Woods for the first time without knowing anything about it, it is just complete 180 blast the entire way through.
I need to
That was one of
rewatch
my
it.
favorite theater experiences that I think I've ever had.
Okay.
Was seeing that in the theater.
Yeah, I need to
for the
check it
first
out one
time.
of these days.
We're gonna keep doing this trend of like top movies of blah blah blah. I
Mhm.
think we're gonna do 14 and 4 next.
Okay.
Do you think maybe we should do like 1995 since we're on a good kind of?
Yeah, we'll go back to the 90s then,
Mm.
and then we'll start like 14, 4, and 94.
We got the fives
Mhm.
thing going. Let's keep it consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
we'll go. The oldest ones here are 30, so yeah, let's go back to the 90s and not go farther.
You only
It's not
being
that hard to
30
pick
is
good
suspicious.
movies from '95.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. 90s will work,
Yeah.
but like if we want to, I don't think we should go like to like the 60s or something.
No,
Keep
no,
doing
no,
it,
no.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think-
85 was also a good year. In
I
my
mean,
opinion,
yeah,
but-
85.
If
Hmm.
we want to do the 80s, we can do 80s too.
85 is an iconic year of film. So
True.
I would go as far back as 85.
Yeah, let's
that
go-
would be my opinion.
So yeah,
So-
we'll do it like every
75,
Yeah.
not really. I
Yeah.
could name like 3 movies that came out that
Exactly,
year.
yeah.
So.
Matthew would like to go back to 1905 to remind him of his youth.
Shut up.
No,
you're talking about John. Hey,
yeah, I was
get
going
it
to say you're
right.
confusing him with John. Matthew came out 10 years later. So.
Anyway, are we ready to commence with our 2005 list?
Yes, we are.
I'd like to go last.
I was
Of course
going
you
to
would.
ask to go last.
I'll go before Paul.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah, 2005. A lot of good films on my list, of course, and there's a lot of good films that year. Not a particularly memorable year of film for me, though, overall, but there are some gold gems in here. Starting with number 10, this is a film, as much as I do really enjoy it, it does have flaws, and I think it's too long, ultimately, but it's by a director that I have always loved, and it's a remake of a timeless classic, and that is Peter Jackson's King Kong. This film is 3 hours, and it does not need to be 3 hours. There's a lot of fat that you can trim out of this movie. It is definitely bloated in many areas, and there's a few, as much as the effects really do hold up, and I mean that. Some of the effects in this film look better than most effects today, but there are occasionally bad effects.
Peter Jackson is a
sequences.
beast.
Yeah,
True.
especially in that period of the aughts where, I mean, this was right after Lord of the Rings, and he was still on fire. But yeah, regardless of the flaws I have with it in terms of its length and definitely a few moments where it does get a little too relies too much on spectacle. This film still has just so much to enjoy about it. Like I said, the effects on Kong are just spectacular. I cannot believe this came out in 2005. After I rewatched this recently, with the effects back then are just phenomenal in this film. Naomi Watts is great in this. Adrian Brody, pretty much all the cast in this is good.
Jack Black.
Yeah, they're solid.
Jack Black is very good in this. I really
He plays
enjoy
an
him.
excellent scumbag.
Mhm, yeah. And plays the greedy filmmaker extremely well. Yeah, this has one of my favorite musical scores of all time by James Newton Howard. Go on YouTube and look up Central Park by James Newton Park. That's one of my favorite musical pieces in all of film. What?
You
It's
said
just
by James Newton Park.
James Newton. No,
It's just
Cent-
crazy
I
that he
said
named it
cent-
after himself.
Central
I-
Park by James Newton Howard. That's the one.
That's
God damn it.
definitely staying in the episode.
James Newton Park.
Blooper reel.
But anyway, yeah.
I've heard of Lincoln Park, not Newton Park.
Yeah. King Kong is a film that I've enjoyed since I was a kid, and I think it still holds up very well to this day. Number 9. Know what I'm saying? So shit, man. Fuck it. 4-Year-Old Virgin, probably my favorite comedy of 2005. This is Judd Apatow, one of his first like directorial films. I think it's probably still his funniest.
Yeah, for real.
This film has so many great lines in it, so many hilarious scenes. Steve Carell is so great in it.
Fucking called him on the head like Aquaman.
Yes, yes.
So good.
They're not fucking toys. This is Iron Man. Yeah. His chemistry with Seth Rogen, Paul Rudd, and God damn it, what's the other guy's name in their group? Rowan E. Malco, also great in this. Yeah. A really funny movie that also, like a lot of Judd Apatow films, manages to get inside the head of the main character and kind of almost forms like a mini character study in a way, but it's still very funny and doesn't take itself too seriously. And it's overall just I love a good comedy, and this is still one of my all-time faves. So moving on to number 8. Of real feel-good sports film. There are a lot of feel-good boxing movies out there, but one that particularly holds up in my mind is Cinderella Man, which is Ron Howard's film starring Russell Crowe and Renee Zellweger. Paul Giamatti plays an amazing coach in the film. Character's name is Joe Gould. Yeah, Ron Howard, hit or miss director in my opinion, but Cinderella Man's definitely one of his better films. Really brings you into the time period of the Great Depression and all the different conflicts and issues that the characters have to deal with. It really makes you sympathize with the main character, especially Russell Crowe is just fantastic in this film, as well as, like I said, Paul Giamatti. The boxing scenes are done really well, and it's ultimately just a film that you just get engrossed by, and it's just a really good tearjerker, and it ultimately makes you feel good in the end, like any good boxing movie should. So number 7, a movie that not too many people know about, and that's a real damn shame because this is by one of the best directors today, at least, Noah Baumbach, and this is The Squid and the Whale. This film has an amazing cast. Never heard of that?
No,
I
Okay,
haven't. Yeah.
I figured. This is by Noah Baumbach, who directed recently Marriage Story, and also he's done what was that other one? Meyerowitz Stories, which has Adam Sandler and Ben Stiller.
Of course, Dylan hasn't heard of it. He's got movies like Frankenhooker on his list.
Don't you fucking diss on Frankenhooker.
Well,
It's too good.
this is a film about a family that's going through divorce, and it's not a film that is overly sad, and it does have a little quite a bit of dark comedy like some of Noah Baumbach's films do, and it overall just feels very realistic, and it's a very natural family dynamic, and this film has a few you might not have heard about the film, but it does have a few names that you may know about. Jeff Daniels plays the father. Very young Jesse Eisenberg in one of his first roles. And also Laura Linney, who many of you probably know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a really charming small film, but it really does leave an impact, especially if you're someone who's gone through divorce, which I have not, but I definitely know people who have, and the film paints a pretty accurate picture about what that's like.
Okay.
So yeah. Number 6 this is a film by a director that I really enjoy, with some exceptions. The Predator, Shane Black's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I think this is his first directorial film, and it really left a damn good impression because it has his style all over it. If you know his films like Nice Guys and a little bit of Iron Man 3 in there, that same real dark comedy to it that he brings to almost every project of his. Takes place at Christmas, and also has the element of a neo-noir detective story kind of thing, but it's really refreshing, Robert Downey Jr. and was one of his first real big roles after he got better, and eventually led to him getting the role that made him biggest star in the world. Val Kilmer, also great in this film. Yeah, just very funny, but also keeps you guessing all throughout, and has everything that you would love from a good Shane Black script. So yeah.
Wow.
Number 5 is the film. I can't remember. Did this film real quick? I need to find this out. What's the film that won Best Picture in 2005? I'm gonna find that out real quick. What whatever did win. Oh, I know what won that year. Oh no. So yeah, number 5 is definitely the film that should have won Best Picture, and not this other film. The film that should have won is Brokeback Mountain. This is Ang Lee's film. If you don't remember, his last film before this was Hulk. So this
Oh,
was a
shit,
real return to form for him. Hulk was the film that came in between Ang Lee's 2 films that were nominated for Best Picture, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and in this Brokeback Mountain. So
they went from one kind of smashing to a whole nother kind.
yes, yeah, Brokeback Mountain is just fantastic romance about 2 homosexual men who just discover each other when they both work on a ranch, and it's these two performers are just amazingly good.
Yeah.
I mean, Heath Ledger, in the one of his roles right before 2008, and Jake Gyllenhaal, of course, is amazing in this. Everyone is great in the film. A lot of very good supporting performances by Anne Hathaway, Linda Cardellini, Anna Faris. I forgot that David Harbour was in this. This is
Shit, what?
a pretty young role for him. So yeah, it's a very tragic film in many areas, but it's ultimately a very beautiful and very touching one. And it's a film that should be watched by everyone. It doesn't matter who you are.
Agreed.
So
I have a serious question.
Hmm.
If someone was hiding Red Guardian and Thunderbolts, would they be harboring a fugitive?
fuck you.
Hey, Matthew, can you mute yourself?
Which channel is you?
The one with the green cable, always.
Number 4 on my list is a film by another director who has gotten quite a bit of has quite the reputation with a particular fandom. Looking at you, Dyllan. This is his directorial debut, and also 2005 was a damn good year for directorial debuts. I just realized that. But yeah, Ryan Johnson's Brick. Brick is it's a neo noir kind of detective film that takes place in a high school setting. Yeah, when you hear that idea, it sounds really silly, and it can be done really silly, but they do it in a way that's very self-aware. They do kind of paint fun at the idea itself in many scenes, so it does have a good sense of humor about it, kind of like Knives Out did, which Ryan Johnson later would do. And yeah, it is a film that actually does keep you guessing, and it has a ton of great actors in it. A lot of them are very young in this. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is very young in this. One of his first roles that kind of got him on the map.
Yeah.
Also has
Treasure Planet.
Megan Good, who looks pretty young in this as well. Lucas Haas is kind of like the mysterious antagonistic kind of role. He's very good in this as well. Lots of interesting characters in the film, and it really paints this interesting like hierarchy of high school students in this mystery plot. Going from the nerdy type who's Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, and then you get the sports jocks in there, and then you get the cheerleader types in there too, and it's just very it's very clever and it's very interesting and it's ultimately a very fun film. And it's just a very cool and very interesting directorial effort from a director who would later perfect this with a bunch of his films later on.
Yeah,
Uh,
unfortunately, that's one of the only ones that I haven't seen out of his
mhm.
repertoire. I really need to get to it.
It's great. I actually watched this in college. It's excellent.
I need
I've
to
heard
see
a
the
lot
rest
of
of
good
Denis
things.
films.
Number three, getting into the top three here. This is a film by Spielberg, and it's not War of the Worlds. It's Munich. One of his most underrated films ever. This is one of his absolute best, in my opinion, and not nearly enough people talk about it. This is, of course, about the 1972 incident that happened in Munich around the Olympics, where 11 Israeli hostages were taken hostage and murdered by the Palestinian terrorist group known as Black September. And then the main character in this film, played by Eric Bana, is hired with a bunch of is hired in a group of assassins who were after and trying to hunt down these terrorists who did this horrific attack. And the film, it for the first half of it, is a straightforward like revenge film with these assassins going after these terrorists one by one and doing it in very interesting and in different ways throughout the film. And each sequence in the film where they do it is very different and intense. This is one of Spielberg's most intense films that he's ever done. Um, yeah, not a lot of music happening in these scenes, and it's just directed so well, like he usually does. Just visual storytelling, one of his best like efforts. Spielberg is pretty much amazing at any time he does visual storytelling, and this is one of his best. Uh, in the second half, without going into too much spoilers, kind of really does a great exploration of um, what what does revenge ultimately lead to? Like, what does getting revenge on a bunch of bad people? What does that ultimately gain for the future? And what does it ultimately make things better, or does it just keep the cycle of violence and hatred keep going on? And it's a very deep and very precise exploration of that kind of theme, and it's a very haunting film in the end, and it kind of leaves you feeling leaves you questioning a lot of things when the story wraps up, and it's yeah, this is one of Spielberg's absolutely most adult films that he's done,
I need
and
to
it's
watch those.
super underrated.
Sounds really interesting.
It's interesting and it's intense. It's yeah.
I did
Uh,
not know this existed. So when you first said 2005,
Munich.
it's like
Yeah,
War of the
so
Worlds. Like that was
it's
really
not.
your
Yeah,
fault.
this was the better Spielberg film that year.
It's
I
like, are
s-
you
I s-
trolling us now?
I still like War of the Worlds.
Okay.
It's obviously not as good as
Yeah.
this, but I still like it.
Fair, fair.
But number two, this is one of my favorite horror films of all time. I've watched this film. I watched this film when I was way too young to watch this, and it kind of traumatized me and made me very afraid of the dark. The Descent,
Yep.
one of the greatest horror films of this century. It
Paul watched that with me.
From the opening scene, it lets you know that you're in for some horrific shit.
Yep.
When something truly horrible happens to the main character, and things just get worse and worse and more crazy, especially when they go into the cave. Yeah, this film, I'm not particularly claustrophobic, but this film shoots this cave in a way that just makes you feel like you're dying. It makes you feel like you're gasping for air.
And it's technically an indie film too.
This is Neil Marshall, who's think he's British. But yeah, this is just so intense. Just has some of the best jump scares I've ever seen in any movie. Especially that one with the night vision.
Yes.
Oh my god, it makes me jump every time, and I still know it's coming. So yeah, the creatures in the film, even when they're not on screen, the film just has so much atmosphere and just tensity going on all throughout it. The creatures are very well designed. The actresses are all spectacular. Um, yeah, just and this is one of those films that where the alternate ending is the far better one and not the shitty theatrical version. And yeah, I didn't even know that the theatrical version had the ending where she just it has that cheap jump scare in the car. And I've always seen that one where she just wakes up in the cave and yeah, that's where it ends and she's still down there. So, what's up?
No, sorry, no. I wasn't really going to say. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Have you
sorry.
seen this?
No, but I've heard a fan theory about it. That's the reason why I know this film because I was wondering like I wonder why I haven't seen this because this sounds like something that I probably would have watched. And then you said the amount of jump scares, and I was like, that's probably why I haven't seen it. I'm not a jump scare person.
It's scary.
It's very scary.
But,
yeah,
it's still a lot of fun. It's like it's like Tomb Raider crossed with Deliverance crossed with like Alien or something like that.
Okay.
It's great.
The budget was $4.3 million.
Yeah. They build all the caves on set. They didn't actually shoot in actual caves, so yeah, they used it. They use it very well. The scene where someone gets a compound fracture. Oh, I can't watch it. Yeah, that scene is the most hard to watch where someone gets a compound fracture.
Shit.
It's hard.
Okay.
It's
I
hard
think
to
worse
watch.
than Daredevil season 2, where Punisher's getting his
Yeah,
foot drilled.
way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Descent.
I could take a lot of body horror, so
This isn't really about body horror. It's
it's
there's
just painful.
there's creature.
No, I know.
there's creatures
I
in
could take a
there
lot of that shit. So
Yeah,
I'm not super phased by it. I don't know. It just doesn't sound fun.
The Descent is one of the scariest films I've seen, and it's one of my all-time faves. And do not watch the sequel because it's absolute shit.
It is.
Yeah, that's why I'd heard. Yeah.
Yeah. Do not know one of the most pointless sequels ever made. Number one, a lot of you probably know this is one of my favorite. This is probably my favorite trilogy, and there was no way this one was not making on here, and especially not number one. Batman Begins. It just seems like a lot of people forget how good this film actually is. I know Dark Knight obviously gets the most respect and love out of the trilogy, and for good reason. But Batman Begins perfects the origin film to a T. Every superhero origin film that followed this borrows heavily from Batman Begins.
Yeah.
I mean, the first Iron Man, when you really break it down, is just Batman Begins with a few changes here and there. I mean, Doctor Strange, a bunch of them follow that formula. I think the two films that perfect the superhero origin film are Richard Donner's Superman and Batman Begins. I think those two films set the template for how to do it right. And
All right,
I really
I'd
hope we
agree
get
with that.
Scarecrow as a main villain in the Reverse.
I hope so.
Yeah, it'd be
I-
awesome.
Yeah, Batman Begins is just so it sets up the trilogy just so perfectly. It sets up the character Bruce Wayne so perfectly, going into deep detail about why he does the things he does and why he becomes what he becomes. I love how the script flows. This is one of the few films, and Nolan does this. Nolan does like non-chronological storytelling better than most people do.
Yeah.
And yeah, Batman Begins is one of the best examples of that. Doing it in a way where it does cut back and forth between the past and the present with the characters, but it does it in a way that does not feel. It never feels jumbled and it never feels messy. It really feels natural in the way that Nolan does it.
As much as I love it, but like Tenet, that's a little bit confusing.
True. But yeah, Batman.
A little bit.
Liam. Now, obviously, Ra's al Ghul is not the level of villain that Heath Ledger or Tom Hardy are, but I still think Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul is still great. I mean, Liam Neeson does play a great bad guy. It's Cillian Murphy. I love as Scarecrow. And it gave us Gary Oldman as Gordon and Michael Caine as Alfred.
Michael Caine is the GOAT.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, Batman Begins is it's the beginning of probably my favorite trilogy of all time, and I think it does. Regard. I know it's not the film that tends to get the most love out of the trilogy, but I think it's the most important. I mean,
Yeah.
without the greatness of Dark Knight, the Dark Knight would not have its greatness without what came before it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it absolutely should get the love that absolutely deserves. So
Huh.
it's not what you are underneath. Just remember that. That's my top 10.
I actually want to go next.
Okay, go for it. So we'll just roll this way.
I guess, yeah.
Cool.
I'm just going to read through my list. I'll talk about a couple of them. But otherwise, I'm just going to read through. I'm going to start strong with number 10, Revenge of the Sith.
Hmm. Yep, I'm probably gonna be the only one here who does not have Revenge of the Sith on it. So.
Guaranteed.
Mhm.
It almost didn't make my list.
I like Revenge of the Sith. Don't get me wrong. It just does not crack it for me.
No, that's valid. No, that's fine.
Hmm.
It was actually one of the first movies I saw in theaters.
Definitely
It
was
was
not for me.
supposed to be the first movie I saw in theaters.
Uh-huh.
But the other movie that I did see in theaters first sits on my list also.
Yeah.
How come you didn't see this in theaters?
I didn't just get a chance to.
Oh, okay.
My parents never took me to the theaters when I was little, and someone else was supposed to take me, and we never got a chance to.
Ah,
Oh.
that sucks.
Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Blood of Beasts.
What is this?
Yeah, I haven't.
No
heard of
one
this.
has heard of that.
Oh.
No.
It sounds like a Z-list horror movie that no one's heard of.
Blood of Beast?
Yes. I believe it is on Tubi. That is your guys' homework.
I'm looking this up on Letterboxd and nothing's coming up.
Google.
Blood of Beast?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, I've
You're
never
gonna hate it.
did not have never even heard of this. So,
You of everyone here, you're probably gonna be the one that doesn't like it,
yeah.
but it's up my alley.
Hmm.
Number 8. I hope that you guys have at least heard of this, Wolf Creek.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I definitely have heard
It's
of it.
great.
I've
Mhm.
seen it. I don't remember it.
It's great.
I definitely want to check
It's
it
like
out.
an Australian movie, right?
Mhm.
It is, yes.
Yeah,
Anyone seen the second one?
I've
No.
not.
The second one is good too.
Mhm.
I was shocked because I'm not a huge fan of like a lot of sequels.
Yeah, understandable.
Number 7, another movie that I think that you guys have at least heard of, Dark Water.
Seen
I've
it.
heard of it. I have no interest in watching it.
Fair.
I think it's an Asian horror remake, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah.
It's part of that thing right after
The Ring, The
right after
Grudge.
the Ring
Yeah.
came out,
Yeah.
and the Ring was, I think, the only good one among that group of
The Grudge?
American remakes. I don't like The Grudge. I don't think it's good.
Oh, you're right. It's great.
Thanks. But yeah, like movies like what was the one? Pulse. There was a American remake of Pulse that was
Yeah.
just garbage. Shudder was another one that was bad.
I've not seen that yet. I've got
Yeah,
it.
I've seen that. That's bad. Yeah, don't like The Grudge. There's a few
I've still got
others.
the original Japanese ones I need to watch.
Yeah, especially after watching the original Pulse. Oh my god, it makes the American remake look so much worse. Oh my god. Yeah, I usually prefer. Yeah, I've seen a lot of those Japanese horror movies, and usually I prefer the originals over them.
Yeah.
I actually do prefer. I actually do like the remake of The Ring a little bit more than the original Ring.
I can agree to that.
I think Gore Verbinski did enough different things to it that I think actually helped the experience.
Not
But
to derail you anymore. But there's a I don't remember what country it's from. Norway, maybe Sweden. I need to see Let the Right One.
yeah, that's I've seen that. It's
because
great.
I like Let Me In.
I like the remake. The original is better though.
Okay.
So.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one with this on my list. Number 6, Brokeback Mountain.
Yep.
It is
Crash won that year. And I don't even hate Crash like a lot of people do, but Best Picture though, no. That'd be like a movie that came out last year winning Best Picture this year at the Academy Awards. I'm not even gonna say it. Actually, I am gonna say it. Amelie Perez. If that wins Best Picture, it's gonna be Crash all over again. So yeah.
It should crash and burn.
hmm Has anyone seen Crash?
I believe I have. Isn't it like about a car
It's
accident,
it's a
kinda?
not really. I mean, it's one of those movies that has like a giant ensemble of different characters.
And there's like multiple things going on.
Yeah,
At once. Yeah, I've seen it.
it is textbook like Oscar bait. Really,
Yeah.
is what it is. I don't even think it's a terrible movie. I think it's like okay at best, but like, yeah, it's easy to see why it's easy to see what it's trying to do, and it's trying to win Oscars. So,
Yeah.
and it's not doing it very well. But Brokeback Mountain is the film that should have won.
It is an excellent film. And I think that we should do a watch party for it.
Okay, yeah.
I'm-
I'm down for
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been forever for me. So.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5. This should shock none of you that it's on my list. Hostel.
What?
Yeah. I've seen it a few times.
It's so good.
I,
For what it is,
I'm
it's
not
good.
an Eli Roth fan. Not of his directing.
Oh.
I mean,
Directing, I can see. His writing, though, you have to admit, is pretty solid.
yeah.
I'll take Borderlands.
I am going to
No.
pretend you didn't say that shit.
Oh my God.
But
Seen it.
I
Hostel,
do not ever intend to.
it is one that kind of peaks with the first one. I enjoyed the second and third, but the first one is just the best and very fitting for the 2005 list.
Yeah, I'm just not really into gore that much anymore.
I feel like the
and I
Terrifier
just don't like the
kind of ruined
characters.
that for
The
some
characters
people.
in it, I guess they're supposed to be unlikable. I guess that's the point. But still, I just don't like any of them. So I fail to really care what happens to them. And the gory scenes are well done. Eli Roth. I have a huge problem with how Eli Roth writes his characters. It never feels right, and it always just feels scummy.
I'm on the atmospheric vibe instead of the gore train now.
Yeah, me too.
Not fair. Yeah.
hmm
Number 4, Fun with Dick and Jane.
Really?
good.
Oh my God! I
okay, respect.
haven't heard anyone bring this film up in a while.
Same.
It's a very underrated movie.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would
Alright.
put it in my top 5 Jim Carrey movies.
Really? That's quite surprising.
It's good. I enjoy it.
Okay.
I enjoy Jim
Um,
Carrey.
Not top.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Yeah.
I don't,
Number 3.
Hmm.
I hope I'm not the only one with this on my list. It's not going to be on yours because I don't think that you've seen it. Because I roasted you for not seeing it.
Hmm.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've not seen it, actually.
Someone else has got to have this on their list. I'm not really into Narnia that much, but the first one is a good film.
Yeah.
I feel like
I-
I would really enjoy it, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
agreed.
I
yeah, you haven't
really-
seen this,
You would.
so.
I enjoyed the books. I'm probably in the minority that read the books before I saw the movie
Mhm.
of my generation.
Okay. Yeah.
Very
I
curious.
also saw the television movies that were made. These are not talked about, and these are not very well known.
I didn't even know there were television.
Yeah,
movies.
they made. I don't know if it's like movies or just dramatizations or whatever, but like they do have those out there.
From like the 70s or 80s, weren't they?
Yeah.
So it's like
Huh.
It's very old. Like it's. I remember specifically like going to the library as a kid and renting those. The one that stood out the most was the Silver Chair,
Okay. Yeah.
and I'm so glad that we're going to eventually get that. I don't know how soon, but
She's
well,
working
Greta-
on it right
Greta,
now.
Greta
Yes.
Gerwig
Yeah.
is doing the new one for Netflix.
first one I
so-
believe is coming out next year.
Or
So
they're gonna release that in theaters, right?
Yes.
I would hope
Like,
so.
theatrical
Why,
first.
why would you release that on Netflix?
Yeah.
To be fair, it's probably going to be for like a week.
it's gonna be, yeah.
Yeah.
That should be a theatrical event. Like,
Yes.
If they get their stupid ass fucking like theme park that they want to build done, they might put it in there for months. Who
Netflix
knows?
should at least do, let's say, 5 of their movies a year in theaters.
Yeah. Preferably for more than one fucking week.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like an actual release.
Yeah, do
As
3-week run.
I mean, look what Mubi did with The Substance, and
Right.
it worked beautifully for them.
Yeah.
So it's like
As much as controversy.
that's another streaming service that released a film exclusively to theatrical, and yeah,
Goes the Flower Moon Apple.
yeah.
No.
Controversies aside with the director, Rebel Moon should have been a theatrical release.
Yes,
Those are
agreed.
just bad films.
I would say
I'm
the
sorry.
director's
You
cut
understand though, like that's a movie that should
Yeah.
have been a theatrical.
It should have
Yeah,
never
I
been
can see it.
released.
If you're gonna if you're gonna release them anyway, just release them to theaters, because Netflix is not doing themselves any favors with the budgets they're putting
Yeah.
with these films.
Hitman
And-
should have been in theaters.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Certain ones should go to theaters.
Yeah.
The Adam Project was another one.
Yeah.
Those,
The kissing booth. No.
Netflix has a bunch of movies that they should not just be putting straight to streaming.
Army of the Dead was another one, another Zach one.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Would you say that the first Narnia film is the best of the ones that they
Yeah.
did?
Yeah, I'd agree.
What's the worst one, do you think?
Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to make it clear, I don't think that there is a bad Narnia movie,
Mhm.
but
What'd you think of
Voyage-
Caspian?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, same.
I thought that I thought there were ways it could have been better, but it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. Voyage of the Dawn Treader was the only one that I was like, yeah, this isn't really
It
up
just
to par.
it just felt unremarkable in so many ways.
Yeah,
Like
it wasn't as big as it
the
should
the
have been
hype
given
for
the
it was
source
gone.
material.
The hype for Narnia was gone by that point. So yeah.
Are the Narnia movies more on the nose than the Lord of the Rings movies?
What's he mean?
Like with the
First one, yes.
with the analogies?
First one, yes.
Yeah,
I would say yes.
Because I know Aslan is supposed to be like Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most
yes.
of it's in the
It's
first
very-
one, in my opinion. But
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
been a while
yeah.
since I watched it.
I
Definitely.
agree.
Because Lord of the Rings, it's like sprinkled throughout, but it's never really on the nose.
Yeah, yeah.
No, Lord of the Rings is pretty subtle. It's now. I mean, Lord of the Rings. Tolkien was in his time in World War I was very influenced
Yeah.
to write those books.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and he just wrote more about like the horrors of mankind.
yeah.
That was the more
If-
obvious part of it for me.
Most children or younger people, when they watch or read Lord of the Rings, probably wouldn't catch on that.
Right.
Yeah.
I know the Silmarillion book, like, there was a lot of stuff.
Yes, there was.
That was basically just a retelling of Genesis at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually just watched Return of the King for the first time the
About
other
fucking
day.
time.
So you
I
see-
didn't know it
so you-
existed until
so you-
like 3 years ago.
What?
Yeah, that's what
So-
blew my
so
mind
you've
when you
seen-
texted me.
You've seen
I saw the
other
first
two,
two.
but you didn't know about Return of the King.
I was a little sheltered as a kid.
But how did you know about the first two is the question. Like it's not an
Lord-
it's an
they don't
incomplete
call
Well,
it-
I
mean, they don't call it the Lord of the Rings duology.
Yeah.
No, I know, but like I remember distinctly watching the first two because Andy Serkis scared the living fuck out of me.
Yeah, I get that.
And that is
Okay.
part of why I never bothered to look back after the second one
Okay.
because I wasn't into horror as a kid.
Mhm.
You know, like I
Right.
got into horror probably whenever I was about 7
Okay.
or 7 or 8
Late
thereabouts.
bloomer.
That was a solid Yoda.
I just that completely
But-
blows my mind. the fact that you didn't know
that
But
really
I-
does surprise me.
I
Yeah.
never bothered to like look back after the first two just because of how terrifying that Gollum was to me.
Yeah.
And then I found out just a few years ago that there was a third, but I obviously, you know, whenever there's an extended cut of something released, you probably want to go with the extended.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't do 4-hour movies. I think that, and yes, even with Return of the King, I don't think it needed to be 4 hours.
I've said this before. I actually do prefer the theatrical cuts. I just think they're tighter narratives.
Everything that
Yeah, I can
happened,
see that point. Yeah.
Mhm.
everything that happened in that movie happened like 3 times over.
I get it. Yeah,
Okay.
the endings in Return of the King are kind of a joke on themselves.
Did I not say that there was like
There's like
7 endings?
10 endings.
I
But
agree with
I,
that.
I like
Still
the
enjoy
thing
it.
is I love all the endings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
So-
That being
it's
said,
really good.
Mhm.
it is still virtually a perfect movie.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
absolutely
There-
loved it.
The fact that I brought this up before we hit record, and we were talking about Amelia Perez again. The fact that Amelia Perez has more Oscar nominations than Return of the King,
And
It's
equal to
baffling.
Fellowship. It's equal to Fellowship.
just what are we doing? What are we doing as a society?
Well, I just the
live
original
in a society.
songs. I'm not going to talk about Amelia Perez yet. We'll save that for the
I want
Oscars.
to talk about that in its own video.
Yeah,
I got so many
there's a
thoughts
lot
on
to
that.
talk about.
That movie. Long story short, I think the movie's awful. So, I've made no secret about that.
It's unclear what your thought on it is.
Mm.
But my
But
number,
yeah, moving. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about 2005 again.
Yeah, please. Let's.
Mine-
What was your number?
my number 2 pick. I almost said my number 2nd pick. My number 2 pick is The Ring 2.
Oh
Huh.
God, really?
Don't judge
Oh
me.
my
I
God.
love all of the Ring
The
movies.
scene with the fucking deers. Oh my God, dude.
The Ring 2 is a
Julian on
phenomenal
Garrett's
movie.
face.
Oh my God.
It is a
dude.
great movie.
Oh, the deer.
I love
Dude,
the ending.
that scene has some of the worst CGI ever in a film. Oh my God, just watch it. It's so bad.
I have watched it. That's why it's on my list.
Oh my God.
Okay, respect. All right. You said that. You get my respect. All right.
The Ring 2, I think is.
How does it feel,
awful.
Dylan,
What?
to not be on Garrett's crap
And
list?
you know what's really
Not yet.
you know what's really
Hold on.
sucks about that? So the remake was directed by Gore Verbinski. The second one is directed by the director of the original Ring,
Mhm.
which is really mind blowing because it's so much worse. I don't
I
get-
think it's a solid 5 out of 5.
That's another
10
weird.
Out of 10.
I'm sorry, Paul. That's another weird take from you. I'm
Eh,
sorry.
I'll take it.
Yeah, we all got him.
I'll take it. I'm not sorry. I love it. It's
I
a
mean,
great movie.
That would be like me having like Sinister 2 on my 2015 list.
Should be.
Sinister 2.
I will say that one actually fucked me up more than the first.
Sinister 2?
The crucifixion scene.
Oh my god.
I think it was a crucifixion,
Oh
at
my
least.
god.
That
my
messed me up.
God.
That was the only thing about it that messed me up. But anyway, number
Dude.
1. I love that I just got a meme face out of Garrett for all of that. I
I
love
need to
it.
start going through and making memes out of all this.
Yes.
Please.
Without further ado, my
This better
number
be
1
good.
movie. 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Really?
Oh.
That's your number 1?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
I can see it, yeah.
This movie's fucking great.
I was between two movies for you for your top pick.
Do what?
I was between two movies for you for your top pick.
What did you think it was going to be?
I thought it was
Saw 2
gonna
came
be
out
the
that
Descent.
year, right?
I thought it was gonna be the Descent, to be honest. But
I actually wasn't a fan.
really, you're not.
You gave it, what, a 3-star, I think?
You have the
I-
Ring 2 on your 2005 list, but you don't have the Descent.
Mark this for the meme. Mark it for the meme.
Oh my god, dude! Oh my god, you're killing me.
Hear me
You're
out.
killing me, Smalls.
Hear me out. What about me is small?
Well, I don't think you want the answer.
There is no answer.
But yes,
There is,
Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me
Sure,
out. Hear me
sure,
out.
Go on, go on.
The Descent, I felt like was too over the top with the jump scares. I could not get over that fact. I feel like a movie should not have to depend on jump scares to be scary. There was
I would
nothing
usually
else.
agree with you for most movies like that.
There was nothing else about
So,
that
like, The
movie
Ring
that scared
2
me.
Oh my god. I'm sorry.
3
I'm
meme
really,
faces.
I'm really having trouble. I'm really having trouble right
you
now.
have to really zoom in on his face for it.
Yeah, I just put
That makes it
51
even funny.
I just put 51 minutes Garrett meme.
All right.
I
Going away from a 4-year-old version.
40-year-old virgin, Matthew's life story.
I'm great. I feel fantastic since we broke up. I feel awesome. I love Paul Rudd in that scene.
That whole
God, I fucking
movie.
need to rewatch it so bad.
It's so great.
That whole movie is just
It's fucking
perfect.
gold.
The scene where Seth Rogen and Paul Rudd are playing playing video games and they're talking about that. It's one of my favorite exchanges.
That literally is how we are.
Yeah,
Only 3 of my movies have been mentioned so far.
in both of our lists.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
But I haven't really had a chance to say a lot about the movie.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine. But no, it's just a really good movie. Steve Carell, as always, is funny. I feel like this.
Nipple fuck.
I
Kelly
feel like-
Clarkson.
I feel like that of his projects that came out around this general time period, this is his peak.
Mhm.
I
Right, yeah.
wasn't a fan
Did
of
this,
The Office.
Did this come out right before The Office,
No.
or when did The Office start?
Office was
7?
2004, I thought.
Oh, I thought it was 7.
I'm gonna make sure of that.
Yeah, it was like 2003,
When
2004.
did it debut?
Because I went to 2012, I thought.
2005. Actually, the
Really?
same year.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
shit.
Yeah, 40-year-old
I-
Virgin and The Office were the same year.
It's
That's
funny
amazing.
because both my favorite Steve Carell movie and my least favorite project of his came out the same year. I hate The Office. I don't
So
understand
stupid.
it.
Well,
Man.
I'm a fan of The Office. But
Love The
I'm
Office.
also just.
Do you like watching paint dry?
I watch the Superfan episodes. Like, no, I fucking love it because I like watching the dynamics, and the obvious focus of the show is Jim and Pam.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most interesting plot lines to
And
go
Dwight-
through.
Dwight's-
Dwight's fucking
No,
awesome.
Dwight's basically Dwight's like the Wile E. Coyote of the show. Just
Yeah, yeah.
You watch and just see what dumb shit he's gonna do.
Yeah.
I have a take that is going to absolutely
Scott
piss
would be
Matthew
like-
off.
Michael Scott is like the Daffy Duck of the show. And yeah, Jim is like the Bugs Bunny, and
Yeah.
Pam is the what's her name?
Before this is said, whatever Paul has to say, we do not encourage violence on this show.
Dwight is what Sheldon should have been in The Big Bang Theory.
I've not watched enough of The
Agreed.
Office.
Agreed.
You know what? I agree.
fucking know exactly
You know
why
what?
you're saying
Yeah.
it. Agreed. Yeah.
Right?
I
I
do
yeah.
agree with that.
I
I do. Like
think the Sheldon
enough-
character
I-
is so stupid.
I like this Sheldon character enough.
Although to be fair, I
like
also hate
Sheldon
The Big
as
Bang
he
Theory.
is, but
Mhm.
Yeah, you don't even like The Big Bang Theory, so.
Do you guys? I think I heard you guys say you like young Sheldon more.
No.
That's what. That's a lot.
I
of
do
peop-
like Young Sheldon,
A lot
but
of people love young Sheldon.
I
and
do like Young Sheldon, but I enjoy Big Bang more.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. And the new one's good,
Young
too.
Sheldon was such an anomaly to me because when that show was first coming out, when I saw the previews for it, I was like, this is gonna last like a pilot and it's gonna get canceled.
that's
And it
what I
ran for
But
expected.
no,
7 seasons.
it was apparently people really loved it,
The
and
new
I
one's
haven't
good,
I haven't
too.
s- I haven't seen it, and people just really got into it.
Yeah, the new
it-
show's really good, too.
It's the rare spin-off show that created a whole life of its own
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
of a already successful show.
Yeah, now there's one, it's about Sheldon's older brother and his first marriage.
I don't think that's gonna do particularly well.
It's doing pretty good.
Wait, it's already out?
Yeah, it's 8 episodes in.
What's it called?
Georgie and Mandy's first marriage.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I might have seen something like that.
It's funny.
Preview
It's
for it
really
on
funny.
TV.
I've seen clips of them from Young Sheldon, so I figured that it would be a good show on its own.
We
yeah,
should review it.
yeah, I'd be down for it. I have to really catch up, but
There are only 8 episodes so far.
Has
Yeah,
John,
yeah, but I
John-
haven't seen
has
like
John
any of Young
watched The
Sheldon.
Big Bang Theory?
Huh?
So-
Has John watched The Big Bang Theory?
No, I
Dina?
think he'd like it, though.
Yeah, he would like
Yeah,
it.
I can see that. Yeah.
Mhm.
I will yield after I say this, and this is going to give me, hopefully, my second meme person. If I was God for a day, and I was allowed to do one thing, I would go back in time, and I would remove the Big Bang Theory from all the servers.
Damn, you feel that strongly about
Shit.
it. I know a lot of people don't like it, and I get it. I like the show personally.
Yeah.
I liked it when I was a kid. I haven't really watched much of it.
Yeah, I
now
haven't
that
seen
I'm,
it in
like,
its
older,
entirety.
It was a show that I enjoyed as a kid. I probably wouldn't go back to as an adult. But
I
as,
watched it for the first time, like, 3 years ago.
as a nerdy kid growing up, it kind of became my comfort show after a while.
I watched it for the first time like 3-4 years ago.
Mm.
I like binged the whole thing in like a month.
I always like the Halloween episodes. Those
Yeah.
are good.
I yield.
Okay.
So,
So-
Matthew, he wants to go last.
I
so
know.
you're
That's why I
up
figured
now.
we're going like this.
Yeah, we're
So yeah, the only 3 of my movies have been mentioned so far.
Same.
I actually moved one of my movies.
Well, we already know what one is. So
I moved one of my movies because the more I think about it, like I enjoy it more now than the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved it to number 1. And I just feel like it gets better every time. The first one's the real curveball. It's not as bad after this one. Number 10 is a movie starring Nicole Kidman,
Ooh, what is that?
and it's a pseudo remake of an old TV show.
What is this?
It's Bewitched.
Oh,
I do not like
yeah!
this movie. I do
Uh,
not like it.
I don't know why I enjoy it. I really do though.
Oh, because I've never seen the show.
Neither-
I've seen the
I've seen, like,
movie.
one episode.
Is this as bad as my Ring 2 take?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I know. I know people who do like Bewitched. I also
Yeah.
don't know anyone who likes Ring 2. I'm sorry, Paul. But
Yeah.
Well, there's one number for the statistic.
yeah,
I'm
this-
not a super big comedy fan, so this is like the only like comedy on my list. But like,
I think I know why you like this because WandaVision took a lot of inspiration from it.
probably yeah, I could see that
Mhm.
because I enjoyed it more the second time than I did the first time.
Oh yeah.
Because I got it from work. Movies are $2.99 at work, so like
Yeah,
I buy movies from work a lot.
it's a combination of elements. That Bewitched movie, Will Ferrell and Nicole Kidman and Michael Caine. It's a
Michael
common.
Caine was in it too. That's probably another reason I like it
Yeah,
so much.
yeah. I mean, he's always good. It's just a combination of elements, and that didn't work, and I just did not find much of it funny at all. So
Number 9 is one that you mentioned. There's a little bit of monkey business going on. King Kong.
Mhm.
I don't think it was. I feel like there was a few things that could have been trimmed,
Yeah.
but like overall, I didn't find an issue at the time.
Mhm.
And the effects are crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the effects are, for the most part, are just top notch.
Peter Jackson is up there with Nolan in terms of how to work special effects.
he knows
Yeah.
how. He really does.
I feel like him and Nolan are among the top.
Mhm. And
I would
and
say
Denis.
Denis. Yeah, Denis a new one that's getting there. Because Denis mostly did lower budget stuff till Blade Runner.
Mhm. Man, what's the last thing that Peter Jackson directed?
I don't know.
I miss him as a director. I mean, I know he like produces a lot of stuff now, but like, I know what he last
The Hobbit
The
movies.
Hobbit movies.
Yeah.
Which I
I wasn't sure if there was
I'm not-
anything in between those and now.
No,
That's why I
it
didn't
doesn't
say
look
no,
that.
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
the last thing he did were the last thing did
The
was
Beatles
Hobbit.
Get Back. The
Was that the
documentary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't know if I've actually watched that all the way through.
I've never
But I'm
tried.
I've also seen the extended version of King Kong.
Yeah. Then that one has like a scene involving like a water monster, like a lake monster or
Yeah.
something. Hmm.
I love the time spent on Skull Island.
Yeah. It becomes a whole other movie when they leave New York and they go to Skull Island.
I almost feel like, yeah, I'm gonna say it. I think the effects in King Kong are better than Kong Skull Island.
I would agree.
Really?
I agree with you actually.
Yeah,
Huh.
I like Kong Skull Island.
I do too.
But
I think King
in
Kong's
terms
a
of
better movie.
in terms of looking more realistic, I would
Yes.
say.
And I feel like
um,
King Kong's a better movie.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah. The next one's very interesting. It's one of the director's least popular movies. Very well-known horror director, Wes Craven with Red Eye.
Oh yeah, I do like this movie a lot.
Yeah.
I actually watched it last year, I think.
I feel like-
solid thriller.
Before Oppenheimer, I feel like this is one of
Cillian
Cillian
Murphy,
Murphy's best
yeah,
performance.
he's
This is one of his best
excellent in this.
And then we also got Rachel McAdams
Yeah,
as the lead actress.
the switch that Cillian Murphy does when he's super charming in the beginning of it, and then he just
Just straight
layers,
psycho.
the layers just get peeled back in
Yeah.
almost like an instant.
If I remember it, you said you haven't seen this, right?
I have not.
Okay, we
it's
definitely need to change that.
it's simple, straightforward, just a straightforward thriller, but it's done really well.
Is
So,
it as good as the Ring 2?
Way better.
no, it's worse than Ring 2, of course. No.
And it's also
Makes
got
sense.
I don't know the actress's name. Hold on.
Not Rachel McAdams?
No, Jayma Mays. She was in Mall Cop.
Oh,
One of the greatest movies of all
yeah, you're
time.
right. You're right. She is in those fucking mall cop movies, isn't she?
She's in the first one, and then the second one just archival footage.
Yeah.
Second one is also one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, Red Eye's just a great movie. It's a really well done thriller. Like
Yep.
like you said, super simple.
Yep.
But it's pretty tense.
Very tense.
Probably part of it's the airplane setting, so you're like stuck with the killer. Number 7 is the only animated movie on my list.
I think I know what this is.
Dyllan, you're gonna approve of this.
I have 2 options:
What are your options?
Wallace and Gromit or Robots.
Okay, you didn't get either one. Corpse Bride.
Yeah, Corpse Bride was the other one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I personally, if I was gonna go animated, I'm a huge Wallace and Gromit fan.
I've not seen any of the Wallace and Gromit movies.
That almost made my list.
Matthew, you need to change that.
Wait,
you need to change that.
you haven't seen Wallace and Gromit?
No.
Or
They just
you
came out
just
with a
don't
new one,
like
too.
it?
I've never seen any of them.
Oh my god, I grew up on Wallace and Gromit.
They're
so
so fucking good.
I still need to
love
watch
Armin.
the new one though,
Same,
and I'm
most
hearing
foul.
it's absolutely fantastic.
It's because Matthew is into necrophilia.
I don't even know what you just said.
You don't want to know.
No, you probably don't.
Okay.
Let's
I-
move on.
You were muttering under your breath.
I'll tell you the
blanked it
story
out.
later.
Purposefully.
Okay.
There's a story behind it.
Yes.
Talk about Corpse Bride.
Yeah. So yeah, just like the atmosphere and everything.
Yeah.
It's one of those Tim Burton-esque atmospheres. Which Tim Burton directed this one, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He actually did direct this one, and
Yeah.
not like Nightmare Before Christmas,
Right.
which was Henry Selick.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
The goat.
It's just got like this perfect atmosphere that
mhm.
really fits into just my style.
Yeah.
I feel like Tim Burton really does deliver an aesthetic that delivers.
He does.
It's
He-
definitely the best Tim Burton movie of that year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Wait,
what about the
definitely
other
the
one?
better.
Yeah, the
Definitely
prequel
the
to
better one.
What was the other one?
Willy
Willy
Wonka.
Charlie and Chocolate
Yeah,
Factory.
Charlie Chocolate
Y'all
Factory.
don't like that?
No, I
No.
do not like that one.
What?
I do not like the remake.
I liked it as a kid, and I like it
Johnny Depp's
today
performance.
because of how I liked it as a kid. But other
Johnny
than that,
Depp's performance, I respect how far he went, but
Yeah.
it did not work. It did not work at all.
it was
his
too fucking weird.
Michael
It
Jackson,
didn't
Willy
work.
Wonka, just no.
You're gonna hate this
No.
next one, Garrett.
Mm.
You're gonna love this so much.
Are we getting another meme?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get it. This next one is a sequel. The first one was definitely dated by the time period, and the second one changes the direction with a new actor and makes it a political thriller. Well, the first one's still a political thriller, but more of it. It's got Tony Hawk. It's got Matt Hoffman.
Oh my God, what is this?
Triple X State of the Union.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God. I don't even like. I don't like any of the Triple X movies.
I love the
Let's
Triple X
let's
movies.
just. I don't like the first one. I really don't. I don't like the second one. The third one is fucking atrocious. I mean, I remember I saw Return of Xander Cage.
Yeah.
I saw that in theaters like Saturday. It was me, a couple friends. One of them. It was his birthday that day, and I think I've told the story before. Actually, I told them Split was going to be the better choice. They didn't listen to me, and they chose to see Triple X, and we just sat there in bewilderment, going like, "This was awful. This was a disaster."
Wait, have you not seen it, Dylan?
Triple X? No, I've seen Triple X.
Okay.
Honestly, I would respect it if it were 9 or 10. But I know you're not fucking around here. No,
I really enjoy it.
All right. I mean, valid.
I
That's
mean-
your yeah. No, I don't let me bring it down.
I don't know. The first one has pretty decent stunts. The third one is just like mostly just awful green screen and CG.
Yeah, the third one's not good.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The first one had my respect as a kid. Well, when I first watched it, 10, whatever.
Yeah. And it's the same director of Fast and Furious,
Yeah,
so just
It
kind
had
of,
my respect, though, because of Tony Hawk, Mike Vallely, Matt Hoffman.
yeah.
I'm not into sports, but when you get into skateboarding and BMX and stuff, that's where I shine.
It for me, those movies all were trying to be like other things, and it just Point Break was like the template that
Yeah.
Fast and Furious and Triple X all tried to be like. And no,
Yeah.
you're not gonna beat Point Break. But-
Triple X was essentially Fast and Furious meets James Bond.
Pretty much.
Well, no, Fast and Furious meets Bourne.
Yeah, a little bit like a of those three, it's like a triplet. No.
The classic line, "The things I'm gonna do for my country."
But did he talk about family?
No.
No family. Just a. God, I hate that character. That
Cool.
is, I like Vin Diesel is good when he's in the right role,
Yeah.
and he's so unlikable. Xander Cage is such an unlikable jackass in those movies.
You will
And,
appreciate
well,
that part, Paul.
and yeah, Xander Cage is not in the second one, so
Right.
it's Ice Cube, isn't it?
Yep,
Which
Ice Cube.
at least is somewhat of an upgrade, I'd say.
No, you'd really like that scene, Paul. He's like, "The things I'm gonna do for my country,"
I can't.
and it's him in bed.
Yeah, fuck off. Just fuck off.
Sounds like that's
dude.
exactly what he did.
Hate that shit.
But the soundtrack of the first
Oh
one,
my god, it's the most 2000s thing you'll ever hear.
Rammstein, "Hate Breed,"
Oh my god, just full to.
"Drowning Pool."
Yep,
Du
it's.
hast.
No, Fire, Fear Friend, or
I
whatever.
like a lot of 2000s music, but even that's too much for me. It's not even the best of the 2000s music side.
We get a scene in the first one, Paul, of him snowboarding down an avalanche to "I Will Be Heard" by Hate Breed.
I have to see this movie.
Yes.
You probably enjoy it, to be honest.
The second one involves, which is the one that's on my list, involves a government coup,
Mm.
and they break him out of prison to stop it. It's Ice Cube, Willem Dafoe, Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh my god, I forgot Willem Dafoe was in this.
Yeah, he's the bad
Oh my
guy.
god. It's like Speed
So
2.
he's
It's like
Dafoe?
Speed 2 all over again.
Yes, he's
So,
Dafoe.
He's
not Halloween.
Defoe.
But yeah, the soundtrack in the second one's more hip hop based,
Oh yeah.
but it's also still pretty heavy
Mhm.
in a way. Like, it's a lot of new metal. You get an old rap song called "Fight the Power" by Public Enemy.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's
right
on
on.
Exhibit.
Hmm.
And like, there's some
Another movie is that better though. Do the right thing.
there's a lot of like humor in it that like fits in like the like hood setting. They put a tank up on jacks, and they're like, "Welcome to the first tank jacking in history."
Yeah.
Or my personal favorite, when he's listing off a list of like offenses, he's like, "Grand Theft Chopper." It's just dumb fun,
Ooh.
Mhm.
and it's a lot of fun to watch. This next movie was the first movie I saw in theaters. It's not the best movie, I will admit, but
I
it
know
has
what
a
this
special
is.
place in
I
my
know
heart.
what this is.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a phenomenal movie.
it's better than 2015.
It's a fantastic
I will give you
movie.
that. Hopefully Marvel can actually get these fucking characters actually correct in this year.
I don't have hopes. I prefer this one based on what we've been getting so far.
Really?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
Yes.
With the cast that we've got now? Really?
yeah.
I think it's gonna be really good.
It's gonna
I
be.
don't know. It's my least.
I'm not saying it's gonna be like amazing or anything, but
It's my of the
it
big
has
four
to be better than any of these other ones.
of the big four coming out this year. It's my least anticipated superhero movie.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
Why?
I have Superman, Thunderbolts, Captain America, Fantastic Four.
Oh man, I put Thunderbolts under Fantastic Four.
I'm
That's my
kidding.
least
Can you tell me-
anticipated, but I still
Can
am
you
really
tell me
excited
off
for it.
air why you don't have that much faith in it?
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But the next one, I'm surprised wasn't on Paul's list. It's a horror movie from one of the most legendary directors in horror. Did stuff like Sinister, The Black
Oh
Phone.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh, It was his first studio debut,
Yeah. He actually, I think his first movie was one of those
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser sequels.
But this was like his big studio
Yeah.
debut.
Even he will tell you that Hellraiser movie. I can't remember which one he
Inferno.
did. Even he will tell you that was a bad experience.
The Exorcism of Emily Rose is at number 4.
I still haven't seen it
Good
yet.
one.
Oh yeah, you
It's a
said
good
you
one.
didn't?
Yeah.
Oh, I just remember John.
We have been planning
I'm
to
a
watch it
huge-
together.
Okay, I just remember the conversation with John.
I'm a big Scott Derrickson fan.
Yeah. He's got a movie coming out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He knows how to
Gorge.
phone it in.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He's got 2 movies this year actually. Black Phone 2 is coming out.
Yeah.
too.
we'll
And
be reviewing
which
the.
I'm not sure how Black Phone 2 is going to turn out because I love the first one. I am afraid though it is going to be like Sinister 2 where it just is because the first one did well and it's just going to end up like a stupid awful cash grab. But what gives me a little bit of levity is that Scott Derrickson is actually the same team as doing the second one. Sinister 2, it's a completely different director. Only one of the writers returned for it. Scott Derrickson really didn't have much to do with that one, so a little bit of hope for Black Phone 2, but we'll see.
Does anybody else have Apple TV?
I don't.
Okay. I'll have to
I do want to check out The Gorge, though.
Yeah, I'll have to let you borrow my
I
password.
don't know anything about it. I
Okay.
don't know the story.
That's one of the. That's our main episodes that week. Is we're reviewing that in Captain America.
Oh
so
my
I'll give you my
god!
password.
I totally forgot that The Gorge was coming out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
that
just
one's on
I
sale.
watched I literally like just watched the trailer for it,
Yeah.
and you guys were like, "Yeah, Scott Derrickson has 2 movies." I was like, "What the fuck is the second one? I can't
Mhm.
remember."
Yeah, we're reviewing The Gorge and Captain America that day, so
God, I can't
I'll give you my password so you can watch it.
I
so fucking good.
yeah, I don't. I literally. I want to keep. I do want to keep my my mystery about it though, because I am a big Scott Derrickson fan. I'm okay with not knowing anything about it.
Okay,
It's definitely more of an action movie. Also,
Mhm.
I'll say that.
Yeah, I figured it.
But yeah, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. It's great.
It's a It's like a fun. It's like a cool deconstruction of like an Exorcist movie that
Yeah.
mixes in courtroom drama elements.
It's got Tom
And
Wilkinson.
And the scenes where it does get where the horror comes in are very scary.
Yes.
There's some great creepy imagery in this film, for sure.
But like a lot of it is I would say is just a good study.
Yeah. hmm
Because ultimately most of the movie boils down to the courtroom of
Yeah.
him
most
trying
of
to
it.
prove in court if God exists.
hmm
But yeah, Tom Wilkinson plays the priest.
it's a good exploration of both sides of the argument.
It
too.
is, yes.
Mhm.
Jennifer Carpenter's in it.
Yeah, she's excellent.
Kenneth Walsh. And then of course Laura Linney is the
Yeah,
star.
She's been in a lot of movies I've watched recently. I watched off topic here. I watched I don't know if anyone's seen this, The Mothman Prophecies.
I've not seen that.
It's
I'm looking at.
it's creepy, dude.
She's in Congo.
Yeah, she's in that too.
I need to watch that still. I've got it now.
I'm really into like urban legend stuff
Yeah.
and all that. I didn't know much about the Mothman stuff and about what happened on that bridge
Yeah, yeah.
all those years ago. That movie is really I think it's a really underrated. It's
What did you say it was called again?
Mothman Prophecies. It's got Richard Gere in it.
Uh,
I wanted to
quite
look
good.
that up.
She was in Breach.
Breach.
Oh.
Yeah, the
Laura Linney.
no, it's
Well,
about.
I know her mainly from like her show, like her television stuff, like of course Ozark and
It's Breach is about
John Adams.
a computer specialist who wants to be an agent for the FBI, and there's an investigation of his habits, which leads to him spying for the Soviet Union. It's
Mhm.
like a political thriller. But yeah, that's a really good movie. Congo, I've not seen
Oh
yet.
my god, Congo is ridiculous.
I've got it. I haven't watched it
It's
yet.
so stupid, but it's kind of fun bad, especially with Tim Curry. Tim Curry Tim Curry is known for doing some crazy ass accents, and he does a really fun one.
She's in Ninja
this
Turtles
one.
Out of the Shadows.
Yeah. Oh my god,
Uh,
I hate those movies.
the next two are the obvious ones because, like I said, I moved number 3
Yeah.
to number 1. I feel like it'll be a nice little curveball, and honestly, I do enjoy it more now than these other two.
hmm
Number 3 is Batman Begins. Perfect movie. Dark Knight trilogy is the greatest trilogy to me too. I'd say the Dark Knight trilogy and probably Lord of the Rings are the greatest for me.
The Ring trilogy for me.
Wrong ring.
Wait. Oh my.
There's 3.
You literally just reminded me. Rings, is that the third one
Yeah.
technically? I thought that was like a reboot. I didn't
Not
watch
really.
Rings because it looked shitty to me.
It's good.
But oh
I think I have it ranked second of the 3.
I saw the clip where like it's in the fucking plane. Like no.
Oh yeah, you have it ranked Ring 2, Ring 3, Ring 1, right?
No. Ring 1, Rings, Ring 2.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Batman Begins. Definitely one of Cillian Murphy's best performances.
Mhm.
I really hope like I said earlier, I really hope we get Scarecrow in the Pattinson universe
I prefer a good universe.
as the main villain in one of the movies.
Mhm.
I feel
Yeah.
like really let him loose would be.
Yep. You
great.
gotta cast him right though.
Yeah.
Skarsgård.
Yeah, for sure.
Bill, you
Interesting.
know I love Skarsgård, especially right now. I'm on the Nosferatu train, but
You
like,
are?
let Skarsgård do something like normal, like
Please.
because that man cannot escape makeup right
No.
now. So let him do like I don't know, let him do like a rom-com or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure he wants to, because like I heard him talk about
Rom-com called Dracula.
yeah. Just let Bill Skarsgård, and even when he's in a horror movie and he's a normal guy, he gets killed like immediately.
Yeah.
Barbarian.
The Crow.
So, yeah. Let's not bring that up.
It's a great movie.
The new one.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah,
I still haven't seen it.
Did you actually like it?
it was. Yeah, it was.
Okay,
It wasn't
okay.
the worst, but
Yeah.
Definitely could have been better.
there are definitely movies we won't say.
I
what that
I
were worse
wanted to
last
give
year.
it the benefit of the
Okay.
doubt just because of Skarsgård, and
Yeah.
yeah. No.
I'm trying to think of who could play a good Scarecrow.
An older one?
I
would
want
say,
like a younger one though.
Yeah, I want someone younger.
This is kind of an easy choice because he kind of plays like a kind of character like Scarecrow. Who's the actor who played Vecna in Stranger Things?
Oh, yeah.
Jamie Bowers.
Jamie Lloyd Campbell?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or Jamie Campbell, I think it was
Yeah,
just
Jamie Campbell.
If
Yeah.
you want an easy choice, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I can see that.
Metalhead Scarecrow.
Yeah.
He's gonna arf all over it.
Scarecrow. I don't know. It's kind of tough, but if you want a like a easy choice for that, I'd go with
Vecna would
him.
be cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that'd be interesting.
Number 2, the movie that Dylan worships at the altar of, Episode 3.
Yep.
Every day.
No surprise.
It is
Yep.
my favorite Star Wars movie. I'd say my top 3 are Sith, Rogue One, and Empire.
Yeah, I see that.
I feel like Rogue One is the best one we've gotten quality-wise.
Since Disney took over.
Well, I just meant in general, like, because I feel like Rogue One is the closest one to like a Dune type movie. It's like the most
Yeah.
like adult Star Wars.
And Rogue One spawned, in my
Andor.
opinion, the best thing
Yeah,
that Disney Star Wars has came out with.
Andor, yeah.
So
Yeah. I feel
Um,
like that I feel like Rogue One and Andor is the closest thing we get to like Oscar Star Wars.
yeah. Andor, when you compare it to all the other Disney Plus stuff,
Yeah.
it feels more like an HBO show, like
It
a
does,
show
yeah.
that really
Agreed.
takes itself seriously.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with the other shows. It just feels like it's made for. I know Star Wars is geared more towards children, but I do.
Andor feels more like Dune.
I want more adult Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do
I
too.
was gonna say it creates a more diverse portfolio
Now,
for Star Wars.
Skeleton. I have not watched Skeleton Crew, but that Skeleton Crew, from what I hear, gets the lighter side of Star Wars down better, like real well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can still do light-hearted Star Wars.
We're gonna
But-
review it later, so you
so-
might want to check out the review. when we do
Yeah.
Yeah.
it. Number 1, this is one of my personal favorites. It's the only sports movie on my list.
Oh,
It's unfortunately the director also did Twilight.
Oh, wait a minute.
It has
Am I
Heath
getting
Ledger.
Am I getting? Oh, is it Lords of Dogtown?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Yep. Heath Ledger plays like a stoner surfer.
Right
No,
on.
actually, you know what? Christina Hardwick is the director's name.
Yes.
I know her because she has
Catherine
directed
Hardwicke.
Catherine Hardwick.
Yeah.
Yes, she has Twilight under her belt. She's directed good films outside of
Okay,
Twilight.
I've not seen anything
she's
else.
directed. She directed a film of the Nativity, which
Oh,
is
yeah, the Nativity
which is
story?
really good. Yeah. She's
Yeah.
directed other good films. don't just label her as Twilight. We all know what happens when you label people strictly under Twilight.
Yeah, Pattinson's trying to get out of that, man.
And Kristen Stewart.
yeah.
The movie's got Emil Hirsch
Yeah.
as J. Boy Adams.
Hmm.
Heath Ledger plays Skip. like he's like a surfer.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only two cast members I really recognize. But one of the main character in the movie, Stacy Peralta, the actual Stacy himself helped write the script and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's very authentic to what really happened.
Right.
And I love how grungy the filter they used. They really color graded it to make it look like it was shot on maybe 8mm or 16mm.
Mm-hmm.
It looked really grungy through the whole movie.
Right.
And like obviously I'm a big skateboarding fan, so like this is just it's a really good movie, and like the story's kind of touching. Like they go their separate ways and kind of come back to each other,
Mm-hmm.
even if it takes a death to do it. But
Right.
it's kind of a beautiful story, and even the ones that kind of went down a bad path, they've came out good on the other side.
Yeah, I've never
Uh,
seen this. I do kind of want to check it
yeah.
out. Mhm.
Tony Alva is one of these people like where materials don't matter now. He was like the rock star of the group where he wanted all the money, all the cars, all the girls.
Mm.
And now he's like one of these people like, it doesn't matter, I've got my health, I'm happy.
Hmm.
And J-Boy really went down a bad path. And he ended up getting sober a couple years before he died.
Is this based on a
Yes.
true story? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, J-Boy actually was kind of involved in a murder case. He was at a punk show, and he called someone out for, we'll just say, their lifestyle. And the guy got stomped and murdered, but he wasn't there when it happened. But since he was the one who initially called it out, he was kind of still involved.
Hmm.
But he ended up cleaning up his whole act and stuff after going to prison.
Damn.
But yeah, it's a really good movie that I can't recommend enough. It's in my top 100 of all time.
Sounds like
Oh.
sounds like a lighthearted romp.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're on you.
All right.
All eyes on you. Turn the camera.
No, fuck off. No,
Break the camera.
yeah, yeah. It seems like a very expensive
That's
can.
what I'm
I don't,
gonna
I
do
don't want to
if-
do that.
That's why I'm gonna do. If Emily Perez wins Best Picture, I'm gonna break that fucking camera.
I want to say first and foremost, I didn't rewatch anything leading up to this list. Anything that I've seen recently on this list was not in preparation. It
I'm
was
gonna be
just-
stunned if I did watch something for the first time this past week. I won't say what it is, but I'm gonna be stunned if it's not on your list.
Oh,
So
okay.
go
We'll
ahead.
get to that later, just in case. We'll get to that bridge later. My number 10 is. It's gonna sound like a goofy pick, and the only reason why I really pick it is because one, it's a movie from my childhood, and two, because it still maintains online relevancy, through the use of memes. Number 10 is The Adventures of Shark Boy, Lava Girl in 3D.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
okay.
that movie.
Yeah. Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Lava Girl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Taylor Lautner. This is one of
Yeah.
his older, one of his first appearances,
George,
if not
fuck-
his
George
first.
fucking Lopez.
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr. Electric. Yeah, no, there's.
This is not a good movie in my opinion, but I remember pretty much everything about it.
Yeah, exactly. To me, it's one of the most memorable movies that you can watch.
Yeah.
I shut the fuck up. This isn't
Robert-
Memento. Leave me alone.
Robert Rodriguez just has such a weird
He does.
directing range.
Yeah, he does some
Makes
really good stuff,
Makes
and then
really hardcore R-rated action films, and then does
Spy Kids.
and Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah, it's wild. Dimension Films is in itself
Even when
just
he
insane.
even when he has the money to make when he has the money to make big budget films that look like big budget films,
Yeah.
he doesn't. He just shoots it in his garage in front of a green screen.
I mean, the more
I don't
power
know.
to it. They keep giving him projects, so
Yeah.
he's doing something,
Yeah.
No,
No, the cheese.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl is just, I don't know. While it's not, in my opinion, one of the best movies of 2005 by a
No.
long shot, it's just there's so much about it that keeps it fresh in people's minds. and it keeps it here today in modern media.
That's
The Dream,
fucking
Dream
song.
song, yeah.
Dream.
Yeah, it's just stuck in your head. Yeah.
In terms of kids movies and R-rated movies, don't forget there's some in the same universe with Spy Kids and Machete.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's
from Dusk Till Dawn.
yeah, it's just wild. No,
When you pair Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez together, usually you get something quite
yeah,
awesome.
there's some sauce there.
We need to do a Grindhouse review rewind.
Yeah,
I'm for it.
I've seen pretty much all of Tarantino's films aside from Death Proof.
It's good.
Yeah,
I hear that's the one usually put last place on the rankings of Tarantino.
No, Sharkboy Lava Girl. There's not a whole lot to say about it. It's a kids movie first and foremost. Like you said, it's like a green screen movie.
All the entire time.
Yeah.
Now it's quite. It's I would say it's not quite as egregious as like Spy Kids 3, which is just like, oh my god.
Spy Kids 3 was over the fucking top with its green screen.
Ridiculous.
You won't ever hear me put that on one of my lists unless it's like green screen list. I may have some crazy picks, but that's not one of them.
He's not. I'm the guy.
Yeah. Elijah
It's
Wood
Elijah,
being in that was
it's
a
like
fucking
Elijah
shock.
Wood.
Yes,
And
I
Glenn
told you that the
and-
other
and
day.
he's
Glenn
like
Powell-
the mythic character in
And
it
Glenn
too.
Powell's in it too as a
Yes,
kid.
yes,
Glenn Powell?
yes.
Spy Kids 3. He's really young in it.
Dude, there's a lot of castings
Yeah.
in this where you would be
It's
like, "What
weird.
the fuck
You watch
happened?"
Spy Kids 3 now, like it's insane.
I
Some
know
of the
one Glenn
people.
Powell's first movies that he had a role in was The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, he was.
No,
I
But
told
thi-
you about
this is
those
Glenn-
castings.
This is Glenn Powell as like
Yes, I
as a
did.
kid, dude.
yes, yeah.
It's so
Yeah,
weird.
this is way before he was a banker.
yeah.
It also had Sylvester Stallone as the
Yeah,
villains. Yeah, villains.
Well, you don't remember Stallone in Spy Kids 3?
I've only seen the first one.
Oh wow.
What the heck? You have to change that.
The second one goes into deep places, dude.
The second one's my favorite by fucking far.
Remember
It's
that?
so good.
Remember that moment where Steve Buscemi like has that existential crisis? in
Yeah, where he's like,
in
"Do you
monologue?
ever think that God looks down upon his creatures?" Yeah,
It's crazy.
I love it. I think it's awesome. It's super. It sounds out
The
big
first
time.
I like the first Spy Kids. I like
Yeah.
Correction, I've seen two of them. I've seen Spy Kids and the first
Shit.
that.
You need it. You
It's
at
just-
least need to watch the second Spire Kids.
Machete. And Machete Kills.
Keep in mind, no one is hearing what you're saying without your microphone. So.
I'm fat, I'm eating.
All right.
No,
what comes next?
Number 9. This is also going to be a surprise poll. I feel Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, we did talk about this not too long ago.
Yeah, I still really appreciate it. This is one of those movies where I probably shouldn't have watched it when I did, but it still works for a kid. Like
Mhm.
I know that when people look at I feel so bad trying to bring him up, and then Alan Rickman. A lot of times when people are like Alan Rickman, it's Severus Snape.
Yeah. Or
But for
Die
me,
Hard.
even though I feel like I was introduced to Severus Snape before I was introduced to, like I said, I haven't seen this in a hot minute. I didn't rewatch it for this episode, but his character on Hitchhiker's Guide,
So wait,
he was the robot.
so I feel like the movie this gets compared to a lot, and the Hitchhiker just gets the short end of the stick. It gets compared a lot to Galaxy Quest. So
Yeah.
Alan Rickman is in both Galaxy Quest and Hitchhikers.
Yeah.
I find that very fascinating.
I like it. I thought he did great both. I was a big fan.
Oh yeah, he's
I love Galaxy
phenomenal
Quest.
in Galaxy Quest.
It's so good.
Mhm.
No, I like that. Personally, one of the big reasons why I wanted to put this on the list was just how it helped shape one of my favorite shows. I don't know
What
if
was
you know
that?
this, but this helped shape Rebels.
Oh,
Yeah.
how?
Specific. One of my favorite characters that isn't part of the main crew, at least until later in the show, is AP5, who's voiced by D. Bradley Baker. Yes, D. Bradley Baker. And he based his performance as AP5 on Alan Rickman's in Hitchhiker's Guide. Yeah. And AP5 is one of my favorite characters because in Rebels, because this is a side tangent. One of my favorite moments in Rebels is when he's floating in space and the Force butterflies connect with him, and he's like, "Is this the universe? Is this the grandiose scheme of everything? Is this what I'm destined to?" And then he gets pulled back, and he's like, "No, no!" He's like, "Leave me out there." But no, Hitchhiker's Guide is just really good. There's some castings that I forget about it, like Zoe Deschanel is in it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Martin.
Martin Freeman.
Yes, Martin Freeman.
I think a mini discussion we should have during the May the 4th episode is all the war crimes Chopper's committed.
Yeah. Man, the list goes on. And it's only going to continue going on as long as Dave Filoni is involved with Star Wars. No, Hitchhiker's Guide is just underrated in my opinion. I don't think a whole lot of people talk about it today.
I see that.
It's kind of a bummer, but I also see why. There's a lot of other great movies out there, and especially in that year. And I don't know. I have a soft place in my heart for it, especially for the because I don't know about anything else with Hitchhiker's Guide aside from this movie. So I have no idea about how it is adaptation-wise. But the poetry rhinos, or were they rhinos? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
But no, they were like rhino-like species, but they fucking loved poetry, and they were hardcore like invaders from outer space. And to get them to go away, they just like read them poetry. No, I love it. It's great. Number 8, relevant to number 9, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
This is ones that I don't care that much for in the series. It's
Really?
definitely I don't think it's one that now it is a very important one in the series
Yeah.
just because of how much stuff it introduces. This is the first one with Ray Fiennes, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so that I do love, and some of the other additions, like is this the first one with who's Brendan Gleeson's Mad Eye Moody?
Yeah.
I love
that's the first one.
love that character.
It has Pattinson in it as Cedric.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think Prisoner of Azkaban came out before this and kind of stole a bit of its thunder.
Yes.
because I think that one is
That's my
the
favorite
best.
one of the
Yes.
series.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
It's
but
so good.
Goblet of Fire is not bad. I don't really think any of the the main series Harry Potter films are bad. It's just not one that I particularly.
I have my
strive for.
personal fucking issue with Chamber of Secrets. I fucking hate Chamber of Secrets, both as a book
Really?
and as a fucking movie. I
Why?
fucking hate
I
it.
like Chamber of Secrets.
It's so fucking boring to me. Like
Really?
all the power to everybody who loves it. I don't know if it's just my personal issue with it or what, but it's so fucking
guess.
boring. I hate Lockroy because he's a fucking idiot. I love the actor who plays him. Thor movie was alright. I honestly I like the balance that he struck with Thor, but I don't know.
I'll have a take about Harry Potter later.
Okay.
I see.
Something else.
No, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire is one of the better movies in my opinion. I would say top 4.
It's where the Dumbledore said calmly.
That's one of my favorite memes
Probably
to come
my
out of the
favorite
fandom.
thing to come out of that movie.
Yeah. No, I like the because I will say I don't feel too good talking about this online because of controversies surrounding the person who made Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But
I feel like it's inescapable now.
it is. But I grew up with these movies and with these books. This is how I connected with my mom and with my brother, with my dad. Like, we all sat down and watched this as a family. It's one of my earliest memories, sitting down and watching Prisoner of Azkaban. One of my earliest memories is my family sitting down to watch Prisoner of Azkaban. Meanwhile, I was still locked to the fucking table because I didn't want to eat my cream corn. So I was just like peering around the doorway, not eating, just trying to catch a peek.
All I need to say about this.
Now, I don't want to touch on the controversy.
Sometimes you just have to separate the artist from the art. That's all it.
Yeah.
It's easier for me. It's not easy for some people to do, and I understand that. But
Yeah.
I guess it's easier for me to do that than it is for others. So
Yeah, this is one of those
is what it
cases
is.
where it's extremely hard for me, just because of how ingrained it is.
yeah.
Like Star Wars doesn't have a
I
whole
get
lot of
that.
those controversies, so I can't compare it to that.
Wait, what?
Star Wars doesn't have a whole lot of those controversies. There have been
The
some
same type
controversies
of
about some people.
The same type of controversies.
I wouldn't say to the level that this is. Because, like, the stuff surrounding the... I'm not going to talk about it. Just...
Right.
No, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire is just one of the better ones, in my opinion, for the movies.
Definitely has
Because
good action.
even though it's not... There's differences between the movie and the book, obviously. But I feel like it's one of the more true ones. In my experience, a lot of shit was cut out. But
And it's one of the longer ones in the franchise too. It's almost 3 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, roughly, yeah. I think it's like 249. 242,
Yeah,
okay.
it's long.
Yeah,
So-
I like it.
I was gonna say, how do you rank it with Order of the Phoenix?
Order of the Phoenix introduces probably the series' greatest villain, right? Is that the one that introduces Umbridge?
Yeah.
She makes that freaking movie. That's what makes that's what makes it for me.
I haven't reread Order of the Phoenix in a long time. I don't remember how it compares that way. But concerning the movies, I might put Order of the Phoenix right under Goblet of Fire, just because of a lot of the sequences in Goblet of Fire.
Mhm.
Umbridge, by absolutely one of the best fucking villains to ever be
Yeah.
put on fucking screen. Holy
He's
shit!
worse than fucking Voldemort.
Yeah, I
Voldemort
was like,
couldn't
are
even
you
take over
sure?
Yeah.
Well, there were. I feel a little bad for Umbridge in the books. I feel a little bad for her.
The books make her more sympathetic.
No, because something really tragic, in my opinion, happens to her, and the kids make fun of her for it. She to not completely go there. Remember how she was dragged off by the centaurs?
Yeah.
Well, there aren't a whole lot of female centaurs to mate with. Yes. And they actually recover her in the book.
Ooh.
And they make horse sounds around her, and there's a very visceral reaction to it.
This is
So-
in a kid's book?
Yes, and it made me feel bad for
The
her.
books get less and less kiddie the more they go on.
Yes, no, it gets super dark after Goblet of Fire, because it
Yeah.
Let's move
yeah,
on.
After
I'm-
Goblet of Fire, I don't consider them kids' movies.
No, it gets really dark.
I mean, the
oh.
books. What makes the Harry Potter books and the movies so special to me? They grow up with their audience. They get more and more adult the more they go on. Not just the characters, but the stories get more adult and the themes get darker.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's what makes them special. And Goblet of Fire's, Prisoner of Azkaban gets pretty dark in many areas, but Goblet of Fire pushes it with the introduction of Ralph Fiennes, who is one of the greatest villainous portrayals in cinema, in my opinion. Keep going.
No, sorry, yeah. No, getting back to Paul's question, because it went on the tangent. Getting back to Paul's, I would put Order of the Phoenix underneath Goblet of Fire. For me personally, I know a lot of people where this is their favorite one, and I stand by it. Like, I get it. I think it's good. No, I don't know. I like it. I will say, when the series comes out, I probably will not review it personally. I'm just saying that.
I'm
But
still so
whatever.
conflicted about why they're doing it.
I don't think that should have happened.
No.
But the only thing good I can say
The best
about it,
adaptations, in my opinion, are not ones that are completely faithful to the books.
exactly, because when you're a fan of the books, I get it. You want that to be adapted faithfully. But my thing is, when you go to see a movie, you want to be surprised.
Yeah. My best example of why I say that, The Shining.
Okay.
There's the Stanley Kubrick Shining, which Stephen King strongly dislikes because of how much it deviated.
Yeah.
It's one of the most celebrated films in history. Then we got the TV miniseries of The Shining that was much more faithful, and that miniseries is shit. It's awful. So yeah, just because something is more faithful to the book does not make it better.
No, not by a long shot.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been preaching for years the issues with adaptations and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
recently
I'm so tired of the thing that the thing that always makes me mad when I hear it is the book is better.
yeah, no fucking shit. Like you're a fan of the book, you're always going to say that that's better than the
Movies and
movie
books
that
are
deviated.
completely different forms of media.
Yes,
you have
yeah.
you have to make changes here, and you have to make changes for both. So
Yeah, I just feel like a faithful adaptation is boring when you're a fan of the
Yeah.
book. Like
now there are lots of faithful adaptations I do like for sure, but
yeah. Well, it's like another series that I grew up with was Percy Jackson. We got the Logan Lerman movies, which way different from the books.
yeah,
But we just recently got the Walker Scobell series, and I love this series. There's differences from the books. Like I've read Lightning Thief at least 120 times.
I like those books.
No, they're so good. I fully recommend them to everybody. I love the fact that Rick Riordan's continuing Percy's personal story now into adulthood. Big fan. But that's a different thing. No, but that was the thing where like the series is a great adaptation because there's a lot of respect for the original work and the differences or the little deviations that they made from the original book. I love. I think that they're great choices. Like, does anybody care about any spoilers? This is
No.
just like a cameo.
No,
Okay. Well, so in Lightning Thief, Percy and Annabeth have to go retrieve Ares' shield, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So in the book, they go do that. They almost get killed because Hephaestus set it up as a trap to kill Ares and all this other stuff because he didn't like the love between Aphrodite and Ares. Aphrodite being Hephaestus' wife.
Yep.
Well, in the book, they never come face to face with Hephaestus. In the series, they do. And it has this really important moment for Annabeth where Annabeth is debating this entire thing where she's like, well, my mom wants to punish me because of all this other stuff. And it ties into it, and it's really cool. I love the deviation. It's great. But no, adaptations should not... adaptations that are 100% faithful, like you said, can be good. I want to be surprised.
Probably my favorite book is The Green Mile by Stephen King, and the movie is incredibly
Yeah.
faithful to it, but it knows what stuff to cut out of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've gotten way
Yeah,
off
sorry.
track.
Let me get to my number 7. I'm going to brush by this one really fast because at least 2 of you covered it. Matthew, I don't think it was on your list. And I haven't seen it in a bad minute. Brokeback Mountain.
Right.
Now, you guys already covered it.
So it's on. Oh, wait, the only one. So it's on 3 of our lists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. That was one of the ones where I was like, it's going to be on at least one other person's list.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. But no, great movie, great acting, really solid. I need to rewatch it.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Number 6, Corpse Bride.
Mhm.
Matthew already went off a minute, so I'm just going to make a couple comments and move on. Sorry, excuse me. Jeez. Music? Oh, so good. Not talking about composer himself, but the music, fucking awesome. I just love the piano duet through and through. It's one of my favorite things that I've ever heard come off of a score.
Mhm.
I just really love it. I love the visuals. I like the contrast between the living and the dead.
Mhm.
Honestly, I really wish that a lot more projects would do that, but I really appreciate it here. It just feels really special and just fully in line with everything.
Yeah.
Also, one of the best fucking twists to come out of an animated movie, in my opinion. Like, I feel like you can predict it, especially when you're older watching it.
Yeah.
But as a kid, it just blows your mind.
Yep.
Like, oh! And then she drags him down. Oh, dude, so good.
Yep.
No,
Make kids' movies scary again.
yeah, please. Kids can take it.
Yes.
Number 5, 4-Year-Old Virgin. We've beat this movie to death. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go home trying to rewatch it.
What's your favorite like scene or joke from it.
I already
Or-
said it. It's the Aquaman condom.
Yes.
It's stuck with me my entire life. No matter how many times I watch it, I'm like, yeah.
What?
like the TMI. The first time that I like bought a box of condoms, first thing I did.
I don't know why, but
just across the hand.
I don't know why, and I think it's realistic this way. Because Steve Carell is obviously portrayed as a big man baby.
Yeah.
As a 40-year-old man. But I just love how he still curses. The way he curses, he still like cusses and stuff. And he tries, like that part where I brought up where she finds all the toys and finds the Iron Man toy, and he's like, "They're not fucking toys." I just love how pissed off he gets.
It's like so like exasperated.
Yeah.
I love it.
This is Iron Man.
The amount of disrespect.
Yeah. And of course the part I quote this all the time when he gets back the speed dating card. For no reason he just tries to talk ghetto. Love it.
Well, I wish that I could remember Jamie Lynch's line because she had so many good lines in my
Yeah.
opinion, and that was also one of her earliest
Jane
works.
Lynch?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, wasn't it?
I don't think so. It was 2005. I don't
Because that
think
was
so.
one of her busiest areas, as far as I know. Well,
I'm not sure.
that's where I know her the most from. Is that like time period?
And
But,
Glee.
I don't know.
And Glee. Don't forget Glee.
No, we beat this movie to death. I'll move on.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Batman Begins. I will say, as time's worn on, I don't know if it's just the fact that I don't rewatch it super often because I mostly just rewatch The Dark Knight. It's rare when I rewatch the trilogy because all of Batman Begins is like seared into my brain.
Mhm.
Just because of how often I watched it as a kid when it came out.
Yeah.
But like as I've grown older, I just haven't felt the need to rewatch it or anything. But it's still, for all the reasons that we've said, it's still really good.
Yeah. I can't believe people call this movie boring.
No.
That's what pisses me off when yeah. How could you? I don't know how people. It's boring because it doesn't have the Joker in it. I feel like that's why. They forget all the other things that make these movies just fucking amazing.
Yeah. There's
I love Rises.
I love Rises too. It's just not. It's my least favorite one in the trilogy, but I still love it.
I prefer like the last half of Rises.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it's really good.
Mhm.
I think that I need to rewatch the trilogy soon. I don't think I've done it in like 3 years or
I haven't
something.
rewatched it in a bit, and I need to.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
rewatch the trilogy like once a year at least. So.
Yeah. My issue is that I feel like oh man, this could get me flamed. My thing is there are too many people in the comic book movie fandom that latch on to Zack Snyder and Christopher
Yes.
Nolan's perspective on the superhero
Yes.
genre. And I feel like it's really ruined the ability to talk about
Yep.
it online. Because it's always like, oh, well, it's not going to be anywhere near as The Dark Knight.
I
It's
mean,
like,
look
I
what's-
didn't fucking say that.
Look what's happening with Superman right now with these fucking people.
Exactly. People are like,
Every-
oh, this is going to be the worst movie.
Every fucking frame they take, and it's like a crime to them. It's like good God for a comic book movie to have color in it.
Right. Like it's people have been so against James Gunn taking over DC for the longest time because of this shit. And I say that with full respect to almost every
To
movie
them,
that
every
they've touched.
comic book movie needs to have just look like concrete.
Yeah, I just
And I like a lot of what Zack Snyder did with the DC movies.
yeah,
but
there's a lot of good
that's
stuff
not
there.
the only way to do it, people.
No, I want an upbeat Superman. And
Yes.
while there is a message of hope with Superman in Zack Snyder's,
And I want. This is what pisses me off too. These people think that there shouldn't be a difference between Clark Kent and Superman. Like they think Clark Kent shouldn't be.
goofy
like,
and
dude,
clumsy and
but
shit.
That's how he disguises himself. Not
Fucking
just the
exactly.
glasses,
Yes.
but there was a social media reel with David Cornsweet where it's like on a white background, and it's like he's spinning around, and he's Superman, then he spins around and he turns into Clark Kent, and he like drops his papers, and he does that kind of like goofy kind of face to him, and I'm like, he perfectly establishes a difference between Clark and Superman in a very subtle way. And I love that, and I love that they're taking that approach with it. And these people fucking don't like Christopher Reeve's Superman either, so fuck off.
Yeah, I can't get behind it.
It's
I'm
weird.
like,
I'm not the biggest Reeves fan, but
Reeves
he's
is
great for what he did.
yeah.
yeah.
No, I don't know.
How could you? How could you not see the value in what Reeves did for that character?
Exactly.
For a lot of people, he is still Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
For
mean,
me, it's a little bit dated, but like
It
it's still
might be
great.
dated, but it's just because it's dated doesn't mean it's bad.
Right.
So,
right. No, I don't know. I'm sorry that my list is causing so many tangents. It always does. I don't fucking.
It's fun.
We're
We're not even at 2 hours yet, anyway. So.
Yeah.
Hour 53. Yeah.
Well, I want that to be my last. I don't want that to be my last comment about Batman Begins. Batman Begins, I have a couple issues with it as a superhero fan.
I can find issues with it for sure.
Well,
but
like
the fight scenes aren't done very well.
yeah,
when you
it
compare
could
them
definitely
to
be
the
a little
other
better
two.
in my opinion.
It's a lot of shaky cam.
Yeah, my thing is, a lot of people complain about Batman Begins in relation to Ra's al Ghul, where they're like, oh well, this isn't really who he is in the comics. It's like, no,
don't
it's
care.
not. But I like how he fits in with this universe.
Yes.
It's
I have to
it's
look at it through
Nolan's
that
take.
lens.
It's
Yeah.
Nolan's take.
Yeah, like I like the grounded thing that he has. I really love that. I just
If
oh,
they want
no.
comics, go to Arrow
Yes, yeah.
because he's pretty comic accurate in Arrow season 3.
He's great in that. Yeah. No, Batman Begins is a really solid movie for all the reasons that we've listed, and I think that it deserves a lot of the love
Christian
that
Bale,
it's gotten.
I think is actually might be the best in this movie, and I like him. I like him. I love him in all the movies, but his Batman voice is the best in Batman Begins because he doesn't overdo it.
Where were the
and
other drugs going?
Yeah,
I love. He might because I love Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne. I think he's. I do love. I love a lot of Batman performances over the years. I think my favorite would be. I think my favorite Bruce Wayne is Christian Bale.
Yes.
I
would say Bale's my favorite
because
Bruce Wayne,
he
and Robert
like
is my favorite
like
Batman.
what Christopher Reeve did with his Clark and Superman. There's a clear difference between
Yes.
Bruce Wayne and Batman.
I feel like Robert Pattinson's going to learn that in the second movie.
Yeah,
I feel like it's like a
Yeah.
learning thing.
Yeah. I would really appreciate seeing that.
Yeah.
For me, Christian Bale. Michael Keaton removed because Batman Returns is my favorite Batman movie fucking ever.
Mhm.
Michael Keaton removed because I just can't not give it to him for every single category.
I love Michael Keaton. Don't get me wrong.
I
Chris-
never rewatched those now.
Michael Keaton,
After seeing about
Michael
Nosferatu.
Keaton and Christian Bale are like neck and neck for me.
Yeah, I think that because one of my biggest gripes about for the longest time.
Now, my favorite Batman, because I have a favorite Bruce Wayne and a favorite Batman. For Batman, for me, it's Pattinson.
Yes.
No,
But like Bruce Wayne, those are
That's
yeah.
what I agree with too.
Mhm.
I would say Bruce for me would be Bale. Batman for me would be Pattinson.
Yeah.
And then the blend of the two would be Affleck. Because I really fucking love what they were
I
doing.
can see that.
Yeah.
A lot of people hated what they did with Affleck's Batman. And a lot of people
lot of
loved it for the
a
wrong
lot of
reason.
A lot of that, I think, is the script.
Yes,
But
I would
I
agree with
won't-
that,
I
especially
won't
in
get
Batman
into
v
that.
Superman.
Yeah.
Justice League. But the Snyder cut version of Batman,
Snyder,
so good.
Bat,
That's what it should have been
Bruce
the entire
Bat-
time.
yeah, absolutely. In the Snyder cut, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I don't know, but that's mine because we have our Spider-Man picks too.
Yeah.
I feel like
I don't
Batman's
wanna
the
do
easiest
that.
way to
I
do
don't want
that.
to do
with.
that right now. That would take too long.
No, I know that's a completely different thing. We can talk about that later. But no, I want that to be my final comments about Batman Begins. I didn't want to end it on a this is kind of ruining talking about shit in the fandom. I didn't want.
No.
Christopher
absolutely
Nolan
not.
and his team did a lot of great work with Batman Begins.
And he brought it back from the depths of hell.
He
Ab-
really did.
Yes.
But yeah, moving on. My number 3. This is going to be a surprise.
Mm.
Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
That's surprising.
I didn't want it to put it at my number 1 because it's not my favorite of the year.
Wow.
It's my favorite Star Wars movie. Don't get me wrong. But it's not my favorite movie of the year.
Look at you.
Yeah, I know, right? It's growing.
Character progression.
Yeah. I didn't want to give
Great
favoritism too
screen-
much on this one.
Great screenwriting on this episode.
We're not gonna get that.
We're just as good as the WWE right now.
No, I love Revenge of the Sith. There are flaws with it, yes.
Yeah.
I just it has one of the greatest third acts in my
The
opinion.
third act is great.
It's
Absolutely.
super good. When people talk about lightsaber choreography, I feel or when people talk about lightsaber choreography and in terms of greatest lightsaber fights, I feel like people think that the duel of heroes is super overplayed, but it's really not. You feel the emotion with every hit, with every clash. The amount of training and preparation that Ewan and Hayden did for that, because their
It's
fight
like a
went.
dance.
It really is.
Which I know there's a lot of division on that idea because there the complaints at the time that this came out, they've kind of diminished now, but like the complaints that went on about the fighting here is that it feels too rehearsed and it feels a little too choreographed and it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
In a sense. I get that, but it still looks cool.
Well,
That's the only thing I'll say about it.
Well, because there's, because the most common, going on that, the most common instance that people bring up is when they're whipping them around really fast, and they're both doing it at the same time, and because there is people could be like, oh well, it's kind of just an excuse, but the in-universe kind of thing is like these people know each other really well. Anakin and Obi-Wan were fighting together for, at this point, I think it was 13 years, roughly. They'd been fighting for 13 years. They knew each other like the back of their hand.
In training.
Yeah. They really knew each other. And another thing is, so not only were they trying to predict each other's next move the entire time, but Obi-Wan also has a specific fighting style which relies on patience. So he looks for the window, he doesn't go to take it. Or he doesn't do the preemptive move, he waits for the other person's step so he can step in accordance. So when they're locked like there, half of the reason why it's like that is because of that reason specifically. He's like, okay, this I'm expecting this to be Anakin's thing, like we're gonna match, it's fine, like not yet. I just dual moves first. But no, it gives me one of the saddest visuals in Star Wars as well, when it's Padme's funeral march, where you can see her pregnant stomach for like.
That wrecked me when I first watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of my things with Revenge of the Sith is like the timing of everything, because like that man was at war, like. I think at one point somebody was like, yeah, they hadn't seen each other for a year. How does that line up? Also, how the fuck did nobody be like, hey, who got Padme pregnant? like what the fuck is up there? Because as far as I know, Padme wasn't trying to hide the fact that like she was with somebody. Aside from the fact she was with a Jedi. Like she wasn't really trying to do anything. So I don't know if there were any excuses or what, but I digress. No, I've talked a lot about Revenge of the Sith here, so I feel like I just go on.
My favorite scene in the movie is not one with any action, and it's mainly just dialogue. Is the the opera house scene.
Yes.
One of
That's fucking
probably
wild.
my favorite. Yeah,
It's
my-
one of the more
my-
infamous scenes
probably
too.
my favorite scene. Nothing's really happening. It's just two characters talking, and it's interesting. It's well acted and it's well written, and yeah, that's probably my favorite scene in the film.
It's that I like a lot of the like under the table things with that. Like I like the world building that provides, where it's like, holy shit, they have water operas. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Like I like that. I like the in universe commentary that it provides, where it's like all these and Mandalorian season 3 kind of does it too. But here I like that they're like, yeah, all these rich politicians and all these people that are benefiting from the war, who do kind of have a stake in the war, are just chilling at an opera. Meanwhile, there's a galaxy-wide extermination going on. You know, like it's like there's a very serious war happening, and they're just chilling and listening to some tunes. I like a lot of the underlying themes and messages throughout. I really, that's one of my favorite
Good.
scenes too.
I've criticized the prequels a lot for its dialogue. That's one of the best examples of it. From the trilogy in that scene.
Yeah, I love it.
Because
It's really good.
it doesn't explain it. It's telling a story. It's telling a legend, but it's not. It's also expressing things subtly. And,
Yes.
Not. It's expressing things that are between the lines between Anakin and Palpatine in a way that feels natural. And it's just the acting between the two is solid in that part. So.
Yeah, I think it's actually in all of Star Wars. I think that's Ian McDiarmid's best acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his best scene by far. I just love it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
it's
he's
great.
not being over the top and goofy.
He's sly and under the
Yeah.
table. Yeah, I love it. Number 2, you brought this up earlier. Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
good.
It's so fucking good. This was my first foray into Wallace and Gromit. Again, introduced to it as a child. I've loved it ever since. It made me really appreciate everything.
Yep.
I really wish that I would have
There's just something
rewatched it leading
there's
up to
just
this.
something so endearing about it.
There is. There's a lot of love. It's super charming. Aardman always kills
Wednesday
it. Yeah. Aardman always kills it. I don't know. I really love it because it helped introduce American audiences to Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
So I really just love what it did for the brand in general. Also, I'm never gonna bring up a stop motion film, because the amount of work that goes into
Yeah.
that, it's super tedious, and it's
With this and
all the
Corp-
respect.
Corpse
Holy
Bride.
hell!
With
Yeah,
this and Corpse Bride that you brought up.
I love them. There's I just have a
And
very
The fact that they continue to do actual stop motion with the new one too.
yeah.
Just bravo.
I'm gonna have
bravo.
an issue when we do the '80s movies. I've only seen 10 movies from '85.
Is it from fucking horrible to or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
or all-time classic, because there's so many all-time classics from that year.
There's one really good movie on the list.
Okay.
One?
Okay.
Yes, of
Come
the ones
on.
I've seen.
Okay.
I know
You got
what
more
one
to
it
do.
isn't, but
It's not Back to the
digress.
Future.
I know.
I
That's
know.
why I was mentioning. No.
No, I really have to get a clue with that one.
Curse of the Warrior Rabbit is just, it has such a soft spot for me, and it like I said, it really built this deep rooted respect for me with that studio and with that medium of filmmaking as a whole.
Mhm.
Garrett, if there was ever a thing where I could actually be intelligent about talking about something, it's stop motion animation. I just
Have you tried to do it?
being deeper in my thought, nope. No, I have. No, I really do think deeply about these movies, just because of my respect for it.
Mhm.
And
Not high
it's
enough
just,
to think deeply.
I mean, if there was ever an opportunity to get me to think deeply about something, it's when I'm high. For real. It's triggered some like episodes for me. Mask off. I have mental issues that or complications that I suffer with myself.
Personally.
Yeah. And I have had some issues with that substance. But like that is one of the things where like my number one actually triggered it recently, just because of how in depth I went into it, and I fell down a rabbit hole. But no, yeah, if I were ever thinking deeply about it, that's definitely the time to catch me. But no, Christopher Rabbit, just I love it, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great.
Let me ask. Number one's Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
Son of the Mask, actually.
I'm surprised you didn't fake me out with Son of the Mask on your list, Matthew.
Oh.
I'm surprised you didn't do that to me this time, because you did it with Fant Forstick last time.
Yeah, so Jamie Kennedy is actually really good here. I really love how he portrays himself in the movie. I really find him relatable ever since I was a small kid. No, it's not my number one.
And Alan Cummings, just Oscar-worthy performance.
Through and fucking through.
The baby, best visual effects I've ever seen.
I will say though, there are some really fucking ridiculous scenes in that you can't help but be like.
I'm gonna say this. I've done this. I've watched this movie. Like, this movie is not even fun to watch drunk.
Really?
This movie is not even fun to do that. It is that bad. Torturous.
There's only like a couple things that I watched from it.
Me and my roommate got piss drunk trying to watch this thing. It was still fucking awful. Oh my god.
There's one thing that stuck with me as a kid where I was like, I don't like that. But it was just a fucking dumb visual with it. It was the part where he steals the historian's face off of him and mounts it on the wall.
That is so. It's not. It's simple, but the way it's done, it's so creepy.
What's your actual number one?
My actual number one,
it's on the mask.
No. People wouldn't expect it at this point, I feel. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, my actual number one, I really was thinking about not including on my list, but I did look it up. It did get its, on this specification, it got released for the first time in 2005. Okay. Howl's Moving Castle. The English dub of it was first released in 2005.
Okay.
And that was the one that I had my first experience with.
Okay.
The first time, and it was, I think it's one of the things that made, that I've always enjoyed animation as a medium, if you couldn't fucking tell. But I've always enjoyed it. But I never really processed it as a more serious medium until I was in the 10th grade. In the 10th grade, my English teacher showed it to us. And it wasn't just one of those, I don't feel like teaching today kind of thing. Like, just watch a fucking movie. It was partly that. It was also the fact that my teacher fucking loved the movie. But he was like, this is just a great story. He was like, there's a lot of great moments in this. He was like, it's written very well. He was like, it's just beautiful. And it opened my eyes to how animation could be taken just as seriously as a live action film.
Yes. And
it was another of the things where it created that kind of respect. Or I wouldn't say created, but like reinforced that kind of respect. I mean, Howl's Moving Castle is by far my favorite Studio Ghibli movie. I love Spirited Away. I love Totoro. I didn't watch Kiki's until like 2 years ago. I fucking love Kiki's. Kiki's so good. I still haven't. I fell asleep watching The Boy and the Heron, but that's not a testament to Boy and the Heron. So I really need to finish that.
My favorite Studio Ghibli film is Treasure Planet. My favorite anime is Toy Story, Core in the House, airplane instruction videos from the 80s, Seinfeld, great anime.
Fucking perfect. Top notch.
Yep.
No, Howl's Moving Castle is just
that
beautiful.
shows you my knowledge of Japanese animation.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so much. Like I just got kicked onto, and I've known about it since a childhood. My older brother loved it. Mobile Suit Gundam. I just got into that
Gundam.
recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've been trying to dive a little more into older Japanese animation media because I feel like that it's just some of the best of the class. It's beautiful. I feel like a lot of the stuff from that time period is aged beautifully. I love the aesthetic that's come applied to it. Like, side fact: when you picture Sailor Moon, you picture a more like cutesy, warm-colored, like rosy tint to it. That wasn't the way that it originally was. The only reason why it's that way is because of how it's been poorly preserved over time. By the time that they digitized it, that was the damage that was done.
Yeah. Like
Uh,
most silent films you see now are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just it's a bummer, but I just Howl's Moving Castle is amazing. Another thing where it's like Disney distributed it, and I feel like Disney is one of those things where all their flaws, at least they branched out at certain times throughout their history. And I feel like
They
them
try.
distributing Japanese films was one of those things where it was a great thing for them to do. Like, I'm super appreciative of that. I'm sure that there are countless people in this country that are super appreciative of it, whether they recognize it or not. Like, it's, I don't know. Howl's Moving Castle is just awesome to me. I fucking love it.
Yep.
I'm always going to be for including fantastical elements in media, especially in animation. That's the
Yep.
best. That's the best place for it, in my opinion.
You can't
You
do
can
it
do
in
so
live
much
action.
good with it.
Do it in animation.
Yeah, like War of the Rohirrim, or Rohirrim.
I didn't see that.
It's going to be streaming February 28th.
Yeah, I already bought it.
I didn't hear I didn't hear great things about it.
I liked it as a Lord of the Rings fan. As somebody who has
Okay.
again, I grew up with Lord of the Rings trilogy.
And
I need to go back to Rings of Power.
now
I haven't finished it.
I wonder. I just when that was coming out, I originally didn't actually know it was going to be an anime style.
Yeah, it was actually directed by
Yeah,
the
it's
guy
true.
who did Ninth Jedi for Star Wars Visions, which is
Yeah.
one of the most acclaimed episodes from Visions.
I appreciate New Line and those guys for releasing it, as a theatrical film. But I just don't see how they thought it was going to be that big.
We're
I-
getting
I
a new
hope-
Peter Jackson movie next year, apparently.
Hmm
Hunt for Gollum.
Yeah, that's right.
'Cause,
Yeah, which is interesting.
I'm very worried. I'm very worried. I'm interested, but I'm worried.
Well,
So,
I can't
They
remember
just-
if Andy Serkis said that he's super attached to it or what, but I feel like he is, considering like
hope
Gollum
so.
was like his
who are they going to get to
Sorry,
play Gollum?
his thing.
Me.
Well, I mean, they could have grabbed somebody else for it, and
Andy's you get
Andy
back
just help teach and
Get-
be like,
getting
this is how you
back-
do it. This is I
if
don't
you
know.
get back Andy Serkis, that's already a big draw for audiences.
Yes,
So.
big time. No, I would recommend checking out War of the Rohirrim. I liked it. I was somebody who went into it mostly blind. There was a thing towards the end where I feel like it draws you in enough that you start to forget about certain things and you just see it as the history. Or or not so much like these are historical figures, but more just like it's really great to see this unfold. I really love the world building. I love. I was talking about Howl's Moving Castle. No, it makes you forget about certain things, and there's a reveal towards the end where I'm like, oh shit, and I remembered it right before it happened. I was like, oh son of a bitch,
I just think
I should have known.
the anime style, as much as people love it, and it's absolutely great style, I just think for American audiences, it's always going to be a niche thing. Like I don't know what, maybe something can come along and maybe get Americans more into it, but like the general Americans, I know a ton of people love it, American people, but like generally speaking, it's for me, I think it's always going to be a niche thing, no matter how good it is.
Yeah,
So,
I understand. I don't think that they were expecting a full draw with it. I
No.
really don't, because I'm pretty sure that
What
this
was the
was
budget on
originally
it?
just a Japanese release, or it was
I'll look
first
up-
released
I wonder
Japan.
what
I
the budget
believe.
on it was.
Yeah, I was about to look that up too.
But
Uh,
that's your list.
yeah, that's my list. I really do. I really do love these films. I'm not saying that these are the best films of 2005. Absolutely not. Or well, some of these
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
but for me, a lot of these held a
It's just our
special place in
list.
my heart. Yeah, and
Nice.
I also just I knew a lot of my stuff wasn't going to be on the rest of your guys' list, and I
95
at
is
least
gonna be
wanted
interesting.
some of these to be mentioned. Yeah, because I feel like it's a lot easier to overlook some of these smaller things or that people wouldn't typically hold up. Where it's like, yeah, this was also a big deal.
Next week's
I
gonna
just
be
want to provide
interesting.
that. It will be. Yeah.
Yeah.
We thank you for watching this long episode. It's been a crazy one. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We got a couple more episodes coming out this week. Dyllan and I are reviewing Creature Commandos and Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
I believe Paul is reviewing Wolfman. We thank you guys for watching. Next week we have our top movies in '95. And then the week after that we have Captain America, Brave New World, and the Gorge review.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So stick around for that. We hope you guys enjoyed. See you later.
We have been the Cinema Asylum Podcast. You guys were awesome. Thanks for coming out. Good night.